live and in living color.
Hi. How's everyone's evening?
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in,
I
get your shit, sit down, and gab. Gabby, gab, 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 gabby, gab, 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 gab.
so how's everyone doing tonight? I guess I'm the only one on screen right now. That's fine.
I'm
I
here.
can
I'm
be there.
here. I was late. I'm here.
Anyone do any? You're fine. Most of the time it's me.
I'm sure you usually have a better reason than I do.
Mine's work
Yeah, see,
or kid.
those are good reasons. I just recently picked up an older video game that is new to me but has been out for quite some time, and I definitely got lost in it and lost track of time. So,
Gotcha.
got any Monster Hunter fans in the audience?
Ooh, I haven't heard that game in a while.
I just picked up World on the Steam sale, and I'm playing my way through the story. Definitely lost track of time.
Wow, yeah.
What game are we
I
playing?
could see that.
I was playing Monster Hunter World. I just picked it up for the first
Oh
time.
my god, I haven't heard that. Wait a minute. Then again, I heard they're trying to bring back fucking EverQuest, so
EverQuest is a thriving online MMO still. It's nothing
still?
like it. Nothing
Yeah.
like it used to be. Nothing like it used to be.
Well, I'm pretty sure I can't access my old fucking avatar either, so I'm gonna be starting at the bottom. And when I have to start at the bottom, I have to look at it going, do I really have time for this?
Well, that's just it. It's not. It's no longer 2D avatars and like. I remember OG EverQuest where it was like, your avatar popped up on the left side and the enemies popped up on the right, almost like the old Final Fantasies, right? Like it was like a 2D side scroller. Almost. No, it is a full 3D like World of Warcraft MMO now.
Nice.
Yeah, I would always end up running into something because it was just off the fucking camera lens and it wasn't showing on my map, and I would always just run straight into fucking either somebody or something. And everybody's like, somebody go get Julie. She's wandered off again. I'm like, I did not wander
Why?
off. I
Why?
had a problem.
Why doesn't that surprise me?
That I had a problem or that I wandered off again.
Both.
You wandered off. Maybe
I'm
the
not
other
that
two,
hard to
yeah.
find. I was bright blue. I was really not that hard to find.
In probably a sea of bright
By
blue
the
people.
No, I wasn't. I was hiding in the fucking trees because the map told me to go this way. So I was following the map. What nobody told me was
Oh my god.
I was on the wrong map. I was heading away from my party, not toward it.
I mean, if no one told you anything, you weren't going the wrong way. You just kind of like guessed.
Right. But it's funny when, the chat box would pop up saying, somebody go get Julie. She's wandered off again. I'm like, you didn't tell me to follow you. You said follow the map. I followed the map.
Speaking of wandering off, we need Izzy to come back because I just took a peek at the inbox. We have a long show tonight, folks.
Actually, we do not have a long show tonight. We have a lot of submitters, but not a lot of words. We are actually just under 13,000.
Okay. I did, yeah, I'm just now seeing the word counts, so I take that back. Still pretty decent word count. I see quite a few over the 1,000 mark.
Yes. And I was nice. I was nice. Um, I did not redact.
You also didn't put your word
I
count
cut
in
the
your
scene.
you also didn't put your word count in your subject line.
That's because I'm always the last one to submit, and I'm the one that does the fucking paperwork. I get away with it.
Fair.
We have
I get
a
away with it.
I think I.
Actually, we got a couple that don't do it. Wha- Dahlia doesn't do it because Dahlia puts it at the top of um her document because she sends us access to the document. So she's usually finishing it up, and then right before the show, she like texts me, and I'm like, okay, go in there, figure it out. And then you
Yeah.
have, yeah, I was about to say you zoned out literally. Uh,
welcome in,
then we have
Galler.
and then we have Galler who puts it at the top of his. He does put the word count, but he puts it at the top of his email, not the not the subject line of the email. So at this point, we're just lucky, very lucky that we deal with the language barrier very easily, and that's where we're at. Like,
I will say this, right? We are still small enough that these little hiccups are not as big of a deal. However, we are trying to train your neurovariant brains so that when we do get bigger, it's easier for us. Because
yeah.
For
the habits, it what is it like? 7 days to I don't know.
it's
It's like
30.
7 days, 21 days, 30 days
Yeah.
to formulate a habit. Blah 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 blah. It is.
Yeah.
It has literally been handled in studies that neurovariant brains take longer, especially if you are undoing a bad habit.
I
Yeah,
thought it
it's
was 6 to 8 weeks.
no, it's 21 days. If you do the exact same thing at the exact same time for 21 days, that is supposed to establish a habit. For neurovariant, neurodivergent folks, we get an extra 9, so it goes up to 30.
Yep. And then it also is even more time to create a habit if the good habit that you are trying to create is undoing a bad habit. So,
Maybe that's why I was told 6 to 8 weeks.
No, that's just how long it takes
True.
Timu to ship. Izzy, as the resident expert, wouldn't you know that?
I'm still waiting on
actually,
packages.
here's the crazy thing. If you're actually getting it from a local warehouse, it can arrive the next day.
True, but here's the thing. Most of my order that I needed for Indian Indie was local warehouses. Only 3 of my items were like had to be shipped in. Like, cool. My item went from New Jersey to Memphis. Then somehow jumped ship and ended up all the way in Billings, Montana.
That's right next door.
Then ended up in Salt Lake City. This is going to be ironic in so many fucking ways. Salt Lake City, Utah.
In there.
And now it's back in Memphis. And if I'm lucky, I'll get it on Monday.
Which is absolutely crazy because we have a friend with the last name Billings and another author friend who lives in Salt Lake.
I've been to both of those places.
But it's also funny because mine and Izzy's story takes place around that general area. And my story will end out in Salt Lake City, Utah. The irony is not lost on me, though I really need this fucking package.
You'll have it. We got
Now,
My
plenty of time.
shoes. It's my fucking shoes.
now I just need to find out that your delivery driver's name is Roscoe.
Oh my goodness.
15 extra
mean,
points if it's a female named Roscoe.
That's the universe telling you something.
Yeah, I
But
did the
we're
damn.
working on it.
we've scrolled long enough. We've
We got 3 more
Every-
minutes.
we have since when?
We always
It's
started
almost
17 after.
always. It's almost always been 17
That's our lucky.
after. It's so weird.
Yeah, but I'm here now, and I don't know if y'all have noticed, but Fridays have always been on time. Hey, if you're not checking out the Friday show and you like things that are, organized and on time, but still chaotic, you should totally come and check us out. It was a great show last night.
Oh
Anyway,
God, yes, it was.
last night was awesome.
It was, and watching them, I think that was the
that was
first
not an
thing. Now, mind you-
excuse to tangent.
well,
Get
just
the wheel
one
on the screen.
One quick thing. One quick thing. Then we can proceed with the show. One quick thing. Welcome to the Hold My Pen Promptcast.
Woo-hoo!
Sorry, Mike was a little close. I rearranged my office so my mic can actually be closer to me without being in screen.
Yeah, for anybody watching, if you ever see me rapidly reach for this side of my head, that's my volume dial, and it just went to minimum. The only thing better than that is watching my headset get yeeted, which happened a few episodes ago when Izzy just let out with a loud one.
Ow! Ow!
Pen.
My jaw hurts.
That's impressive coming from you and the stories you've told, but that is off topic. Get the wheel on the screen.
Oh my.
Well, Izzy's not reading tonight. I've already given her an asthma attack. That's one for me. We do have one reader
anybody keeping
request
score.
on the list.
Oh, we do?
We
Probably
do.
you.
No, it's you.
I missed that.
Okay, as we are aware, Julie has already done the Hold My Pen Promptcast thing, which usually makes me rip my headset off. It reaches that Adam Levine decibel that gives me feedback in my ear every week. But it is July, season 3, 2026, and this month we have the theme of Fractured Mirror. Look at things from a different perspective, give a different character's perspective, the villain, a future self, parallel world, whatever. Just outside the normal perspective, because sometimes you'll find answers because maybe that thing got misplaced. And that character saw it, but that character didn't, etc. Anyway, tonight's prompt, official prompt picked by you guys last week, was to use the line, "The whispers of the wind carried the scent of rain and forgotten memories," submitted by our one and only horror queen, Dahlia McEachern. By the way, she does have books out, so check that out.
And they
Oh,
are
hold on
very
a second.
good.
Hold on a second. I have the books. Hold on. I can Vanna
You
White.
have the books. You can Vanna White, because I do not have those books yet.
And she sent me a very special, does not come out very often, hardcover with the dust jacket and the dust on it. So we have
House of Love.
and then we
We're not
also
talking
have
about my past. Yes. Trapped in Addiction. And that cover on screen does not do it justice.
It does not.
It is very beautiful and detailed. It looks really dark, but the cover in person is absolutely stunning.
Just
All
glad we got it
right.
in frame.
So here we go.
There should be a wheel popping up somewhere around here.
Somewhere around here.
Hey, there it is.
Okay, now
All
reach over
right.
at the same time as he hits the button and see if you can look like you're spinning it.
Well, except it is
Actually, you have
turning
to
the
go
other
up.
direction. You got to go up. Boop. I almost made it.
Movie magic.
Trisha!
Oh, she's already pulling the, oh, my lungs. Wow.
Uh,
On the first
so
one of the night.
are you taking it or am I?
Julie's got it.
Okay.
Okay.
We haven't heard from Julie in a while.
Yes. Julie doesn't usually read out loud, but we got this. Okay. Trisha Jones. There's a warning. Everybody get the hankies ready. We got a hanky warning. Exact words. This one made me cry a little, so I'm warning y'all, you're gonna need tissues. Great. Thanks, Trisha. I love you. I sat on my porch swing on a warm summer night. The crickets were chirping. I watched the lightning bugs flash out in the yard. The wind blew through the trees, bringing the earthy smell of rain. I smiled as the memories of running through the rain and jumping in puddles as a child. I sighed contently as the rain hit the dusky ground. It's been it's been a long time since it has rained, I thought as I got up to gather my rain buckets. I set them along the walkway to gather the rain. If it's a good rain, I will have enough water to last until the snow in the winter, I thought, walking back up to the porch and sat on my swing. I was still watching the rain when my daughter came out to find me. Mama, what are you doing out here? She asked. Watching the rain, I responded without looking at her. Mama, why are all the buckets out there? She asked. They are going to invite mosquitoes to lay their eggs in them. I'm collecting water to use. I will bring them in and boil them after the buckets are filled, I answered. She sighed in frustration. Mama, we are running we have running water now. We don't need to collect water anymore. I didn't say anything. I watched the rain falling. My daughter came to stand in front of me. I looked up at her. She was wearing scrubs of a nurse. Come on, Mama, it's time for your meds. And then you can eat dinner with the other residents. I stood and allowed the nurse to walk me inside while the groundkeeper picked up the buckets and set them out. He dumped what little dust that was in them before stacking them on the porch so I could set them out tomorrow while I sat outside on the porch swing. Dun dun dun.
That, yeah, that got way more intense than I was expecting.
I use humor to mask, so I'm just gonna stay quiet respectfully. But I see what you did there. All right, there's ads right now, so let it out, get it all out. This is your opportunity.
Whew.
I can't. Ooh, look, a Red Bull.
Red Bull.
That was the most caffeine addicted squirrel moment I've ever seen.
First of all, you know me. Second of all, would you have it any other way?
I mean, you were literally sniffle, sniffle. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna break Red Bull.
I mean,
I deal with shit with caffeine, nicotine, and rage. Let's go with the caffeine right now.
we don't claim to be the most focused group of people.
If I
We
can.
are.
We literally advertise that we're not.
I know.
We literally
And yet-
operate in.
And yet, youngest brother over here is bound and determined to keep us on a schedule.
I am a professional cat herder. It is on my resume.
So
Trainer
does that
of
mean if
circus
we're
monkeys.
all at a show together, I couldn't take the night off of being responsible adult?
There are things that I cannot say on stream
We will have
that
this conversation after.
that will illustrate. Let's just say that somebody in this video call, no naming names or pointing fingers, but somebody in this video call has said something to the degree of, if we were ever at a show together, I trust you to be responsible enough to hold the leash.
Okay, that wasn't me.
I.e., I will get you from point A to point B in one piece and on time.
Yeah, nobody puts a leash on me, so it wasn't me.
Yeah, I don't.
You guys don't have to all point at me, okay?
I literally was just taking myself out of the equation because I have said things that might give people the impression otherwise.
Thanks for yeah. I didn't throw her under the bus, chat. Okay, like I specifically kept it vague, and the other two were like, "Not it."
Nose
Which between
goes.
not me.
Ads are over. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Trish. Now I know if I ever get that, once every 12-year feel the need to just have a good, ugly, cathartic cry where my wife can't see it, I'll reach out.
All right, next up.
Oh, wow, that happened fast.
Isu, Hellenic.
This one was requested to be me, so I've got it pulled up. We're back to our incubi. And I actually have voice guidance this time, so we'll see how I do. Why, Rabbit? Atreus asked one morning as rain misted overhead. Rabbit's smile was more of a shrug. Because I was the hardest for you to catch. The demon turned this over twice, then caught the reference. I ought to be a tortoise then, he teased. I slowed down for you. Her nose wrinkled as she laughed. Weren't you even listening to that story? Hare is the one who slows down to tease Tortoise. Atreus smirked and rolled over to place himself on top of Rabbit, who rolled over to lie on her stomach, incidentally dodging the demon's strike. He tissed and reclined on his side instead. Okay, fine. So, you're Tortoise. The woman's hazel eyes glared at him as she aimed a kick at the thick dragon tail that had been creeping its way toward her ankle. You honestly have no appreciation for my incredible cunning, she complained insincerely. And anyway, I can't be Tortoise, or that would make you Hare. You're not rangy enough. The incubus flashed uh, a sharp grin. He pounced atop Rabbit, suddenly as a lizard, gripping her about the hips and growling in her ear. Oh, I'm plenty rangy. This time, even as a shiver went down her spine, Rabbit arched her back up against Atreus's chest. Atreus felt the furs beneath him. I really hope you guys can't hear that in the background. Atreus felt the furs beneath him, yet the whispers of wind from the dream still brushed against his skin, carrying the scent of rain and forgotten memories. And as he floated up from the dream, other details floated up with him. Rabbit, the one who first got Atreus into name giving, the first he embraced in the morning, and the last he spoke to before bed. Rabbit, the first mortal to kick Atreus in the balls. Rabbit, who made him laugh until he cried his very first tear. Rabbit, who stole her father's spear to give to Atreus, calling it a dowry present. Rabbit, whose face suddenly looked so old and lined. Pause, please. Apologies. My son decided that he was reading as well. Rabbit, whose face suddenly looked so old and lined the day that Volzic disappeared. Rabbit, who slipped into insanity because of his neglect. Rabbit, who he abandoned along with his cult. He opened his eyes at the sound of rustling. Volzic's pet human was digging around in the pelts, looking for something. But after a few seconds, Baby Bird brought his hand up empty and started to look around the cavern like it was his first time seeing it. A minute went by. All the light in Baby Bird's aura twisted and snarled in a tangle around his belly, leaving the rest of his field murky and dark. Atreus was familiar with that pattern. He saw it fairly often in people who slept with him for the first time. He'd never seen it in an assassin, though. You must have been mad to come here. That what you're thinking? The aura barely flickered, but Baby Bird's white skin turned red as paper dipped in wine. He barely gave Atreus a flicker of those sweet hazel eyes before mumbling, "Oh, I read the wrong line. I apologize. I was I was just wondering how do you get fresh air in here? Hmm. There's an air cycling spell around somewhere." Atreus threw his gaze here and there, looking for the hair-thin tracework of Greymery as though it were a fly buzzing around the ceiling. Pretty old by now, though. Wouldn't stay past a day or two. Oh. Baby Bird curled himself up tighter, pensive and miserable. Poor kid. Rather than peel himself up from his comfortable prone, Atreus snaked his long tail luxuriously through the rich pool of furs until he found the human's buttocks, snagged him around the waist, and tugged him playfully. Baby Bird chirped, and Atreus felt his appetite awaken. What you sitting over there for? Come here. The slippery, soft animal hides parted easily for him, and soon he had the boy's blushing, anxious body burning in the crook of his arm. Good boy. Keep me warm. Baby Bird curled up, mostly into himself, but with his head nestled cozily under the demon's shoulder. Shouldn't we be getting back? He piped. Atreus caught the forced casualness in the tone and honed in on his forehead. With a bit of careful focus, he was able to see the dagger shape in the boy's third eye, the sign of a lethal plan. Yesterday, it had been so icy a blue as to be almost white. Now it was hazy at the edges, alloyed with splotches of other colors. Somewhere you gotta be, he probed. The little spellcaster didn't answer at first. Atreus saw the dagger pulsate, saw a gap appear in the aura around Baby Bird's throat. He curled his tail around the boy's shoulders and flipped him onto his own hard chest. What's the matter, Baby Bird? Why all curled up? The words cute and troubling passed through Atreus's mind, and he couldn't decide whether they were his own impressions or if they were seeping out of the human's pores like fear. I'm just overthinking things, I guess. Diversion or not, Atreus knew an invitation when he heard one. I can help with that. The gap became a firm ball of empty air, outlined in sharp, robin egg hairlines, and he pressed himself into the demon's kiss as though trying to escape something else. Goosebumps rose on his skin wherever Atreus traced his fingers. He could feel eagerness and tension in the muscles he caressed, much like when they first made love under the eaves of the inn where Baby Bird worked as a laundress. Still can't believe the little freak said yes to that. And here they say the College of Chance is full of prudes. Man after my own heart. Atreus continued to sift through the warm, syrupy memories of the things he'd done to try and scare Volzek's little bird to flight, every one of which had backfired in the best way possible. Gotta hand it to you, kiddo. After half a millennium, you still know how to pick 'em. Of course, the young witch also struck Atreus as the tiniest bit dense. Aside from being a terrible assassin, he didn't do shit to warm himself, even as his fingers started to grow icy. Get under here. You're making me cold. He stretched telekinetic tendrils out like wings behind him, grabbed a mass of pelts, and enveloped them both in furry warmth. Baby Bird snuggled against him, warming quickly as Atreus kissed and into caressed him into tranquility. His aura grew steadily more colorful, and as he lowered his guard, Atreus saw a few words flicker in orbit around the dagger sigil. Slave, spalled, avenge, brothel, happy. All more or less familiar words, but Atreus didn't see the pattern. Kidnap was a bit of a surprise, seeing as he hadn't kidnapped anyone in about 4 or 5 human lifetimes now. At least, no one who hadn't paid handsomely for the privilege and signed a litany of release forms. Though, in that light, the words kidnap and slave appearing together. Oh, that would be right up your alley, wouldn't it, you kinky bitch? Blood simmering, Atreus locked his lips with his baby bird, straightened his spine, and began focusing mana into his tongue. He was expecting the boy to melt into him and open wide like he'd done the day before. So when Orosio stiffened instead and curled his tongue back, he noticed immediately. Atreus pulled back as quick as if Mama had grabbed him by the hair. He caught the frozen, half guilty look on Baby Bird's face and smiled mollifyingly. Not feeling it now? All right, darling. The reaction to these simple words was astonishing. Baby Bird's aura whipped into a whirlwind of color, flashing, molding, rippling like the skin of a cuttlefish. His face paled, eyes making tiny, aimless judders. The dagger on his brow mottled further, then grew hazy and dull. The hilt twisted over it, curving into something like a question mark. He cupped the boy's cheek the way he'd seen Mama do when one of her girls was crying. Something on your mind, baby bird? I. The boy made that face humans make when they're on the verge of tears. Atreus firmed his jaw and flexed his tail, getting ready in case Baby Bird really needed a really good hug. But the tears never came. Instead, Baby Bird's aura slowed its rush, The colors began to congeal, then drip in enormous rolling drops through his entire field. Soap bubbles formed out of his chakras, popped and blurred into the emotional ooze. Then, right from the center of the boy's chest, something thin but distinct. A flower. A red bud upon a thorny green stalk. The bud opened the tiniest amount, and no fucking way. Gold inside. Streaks of gold down the center of each petal, glittering in the ether. Centuries ago, Atreus had seen red and gold poppies grow in the heart of every creature he enthralled, growing ever more rich and riotous until they started sapping strength from their hosts. They stopped appearing after Mama removed his venom gland. The loss he'd felt at the time quickly turned to relief when he realized he could finally settle down in one place and didn't have to worry about thralls going insane or angry villagers coming for his blood. Mostly. Roses of the heart were fairly common, especially in his line of work, where lovesick customers were just another job hazard to deal with. Now, here was one, a gold streaked rose, growing right out of the boy he'd tried to scare, out of someone who, just yesterday, was resolved to kill him. It was. Atreus realized he didn't know how he felt about it. He lifted a hand to brush the air where the rose was looming, but the bud buttoned itself shut before he could even reach for it. It didn't wither, though. Baby Bird swallowed. I think it's time I went home. Oh, you goddamn tease, Atreus thought. But despite the thought, despite his better judgment, and despite his gut's insistence that the road ahead would be fraught with pain, the incubus felt an overpowering desire to hold that fragile flower, to shelter and nurture it, to make it bloom, especially for him. But why? Out of all manlings, why him? Unbidden, Atreus remembered something cruel and painful Volzic had said to him the year he ran away. You can't possibly understand. You've never seduced a human without a lure before. You smother them in your presence until they're incapable of saying no. You don't appreciate the love they give you, let alone deserve it. Something quivered inside Atreus. A soft, fragile something, so stiff from disuse that the slightest motion sent pangs through his soul. It was a wonderful hurt. He ran his thumb across Derosio's lower lip, drinking in his yearning stare. I never used a lure on you, he realized. Not once. Softly, as though afraid to startle this boy he'd failed to chase away, Atreus leaned closer and pressed a kiss on those tender lips. I swear if I have to admit Kiddo told me so. He withdrew his lips, but kept their foreheads pressed together. Sure thing, baby bird. There were a few more kisses shared before they crawled out of bed and started to retrieve their scattered clothes. Baby Bird moved slowly, like he wanted to draw out every second before they parted. That kind of maneuver usually annoyed the fuck out of Atreus, but he could let it go today. Abruptly, a violet bolt flashed through Baby Bird's halo. The boy drew up straight, eyes wide and distant. Hey, Atreus? Hmm? Do you know anything about how familiar contracts work? Dun, dun, dun.
That was spicy.
Add a little bit of spice. Yes.
It was very good though.
Okay, first of all, you left us fucking there. And second of all, Everybody's like, turn the volume down. What the heck? And familiar contract. What kind of look? I've read a lot of shit. We're gonna go with that. I read a lot of shit, and there can be one of three things when it comes to a familiar contract. Some of it is very
Excuse me.
naughty. And another part of it is very um slave like in nature.
I'm gonna,
So I'm like,
given the context, I'm gonna
in the
say
context.
that first option.
See, I think you're both missing a critical question here. Okay, there's nothing to indicate that he's asking about a familiar contract between himself and Atreus. Could it be that he already
Right.
has one with somebody else and it's going to cause a problem?
Oh,
Oh my god. I literally heard the double light bulb.
I heard the brain cell connect.
like that's a game for me. I'm gonna. That's my.
It was simultaneous. All right, let me put another charm together. Well then. Uh, uh, I do declare. All right. Oh gosh. And we have an explanation from the author. Uh Familiar contracts always bind the lesser being's lifespan to the higher's. So if a human takes a cat as a familiar, the cat familiar will live until the human master dies. But if a human master takes an immortal elf as familiar, the human master will live so long as the elf familiar lives. In the former case, should the familiar die, the human master will live on to his normal lifespan. But in the latter case, should the elf familiar die, the human master shall at once expire.
Interesting.
I might sound low because I was facing away from the mic, Doc. Potentially. Okie dokie. Next victim, prompter. Blowing on the wheel to make it. Jeffrey!
I just read one.
Izzy.
It's not that we don't want to read yours, Jeff. We just wanted to make Izzy do it.
She did so well last week.
Do we see this trio of evil cats? These are the charms that I am trying to put together.
Okay, I got it.
Because they have to be done by the time Kesh comes and gets me.
I got
August
it.
7th.
Okay, we have.
Especially since you made me lose my voice and already have to hit my inhaler 3 times in the last 30 minutes.
I didn't do it.
Oh no, I'm blaming little brother here.
We have a list of voices here with no direction on what they sound like, just characterizations, so I will do my best.
Wait, is this Steve?
Yes.
are we Oh, okay.
Apparently, this
Is
is
it
a
is it same characters? No,
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 this is a continuation of the, guy who
of a
got hit
different
by a
one.
truck, or person who got hit by a truck.
Darn! I was hoping it was gonna be more Steve, because I would love to hear how Styx does Steve. Anyway,
Tune in next time.
continue.
The whispers of the wind carried the scent of rain and forgotten memories. Lucy lay on the ground in a field of grass, clouds in the distance, and the trauma of being killed and reincarnated multiple times weighing heavy on her mind. It all started when she died and came back as a red panda, then died again in less than a day, finding herself in a world where the sky didn't exist. After a minecart escaping a cave in killed her, she found herself in a water world, where a boat ran her over and she drowned. She lasted a little longer during the next reincarnation, finding herself with a poor family living in a remote village, doing her best to accept her fate and just survive. Lucy lost hope when a civil war overthrew the current king in a wagon carrying an escaping noble ran her over. Brought back as a cow on a modern ranch, Lucy took death into her own hands, running into the road after escaping so that she could get hit by a truck before they could butcher her for meat. Her latest death, before finding herself in this field of grass, occurred in a fantasy world where magic, along with adventurers, ruled society, and demi-humans, like her reincarnated body, were nothing more than slaves. Lucy escaped before anyone could take advantage of her, and jumped in front of a magic floating carriage, ending her life for the seventh time. Maybe this time I'll live long enough to find out why I keep reincarnating. Patting herself down, Lucy checked if all the important bits were still there. Confirming she was indeed human and female, she picked a random direction and started walking. There were no roads or paths, not even a hunting trail. Just fields of grass as far as the eye could see, and the clouds off in the distance. With admiration regarding her circumstances, despite the lack of anything around in terms of shelter or food, she said, "No roads mean no vehicles to run me over." She walked all day in comfortable silence, letting the lingering memories drift away with the wind. Drinking from a small stream she found when the sun kissed the horizon, Lucy lay in a soft patch of grass and fell asleep. Seek the keeper of knowledge. Unlock the truth. Only those who pay the toll may ask, said an unknown voice in her mind as she slept. When she woke up, its message still lingered in her thoughts like glue. Trying to piece it all together, Lucy said, "A keeper? Truth? What toll? Ask what?" Hungry and finding more questions than answers, Lucy followed the stream and continued to walk. With a stomach that grumbled more than she did, Lucy tried sucking on a blade of grass. When it didn't kill her or make her sick, she continued walking. She recalled a video game her friend played before she died the first time. Everyone called it a walking sim, where this guy with a baby delivered packages. At least she didn't have to worry about invisible monsters like that character did, right? Not willing to tempt fate, Lucy let it drift away with the rest of her unwanted thoughts. When the sun rose for the third time since she reincarnated in this world, Lucy drank from the stream and stood up and said, "If I don't find food soon, I won't be able to find this keeper the voice in my sleep told me about." A small trail of smoke from a patch of trees along the horizon caught her eye, and Lucy altered her direction toward it. Lucy noticed small animal trails through the grass the closer she got to the trees. Whimpering to her left caused her to freeze and drop low in the grass. Cautious of a trap, Lucy moved closer to the sound, astonished at the sight of an animal lying on its side, clearly wounded. It reminded her of a large cat from her original world, such as a puma or leopard. Quietly chuckling to herself, She thought of a show she watched as a kid where the characters argued if the vehicle looked like a warthog or a puma, and the disbelief that a puma was a real animal. The beast reacted to her and growled, but did not move from its spot. Risking another reincarnation, Lucy stepped toward the wounded beast, hands out, and said, "Easy now. I don't want to hurt you. Will you let me help you?" Her stomach interrupted the interaction, leaving her face red with embarrassment. The beast relaxed, eyes still watching Lucy, but no longer growling when she moved in closer. Sitting in front of it, Lucy held up her hand and let it smell her. After it licked the hand and laid its head down, she turned her attention to the wound, a bite mark on its hind leg. "Find the orange flower and crush it." Not wanting to disregard the divine intervention, Lucy stood up and searched for orange flowers. Finding a patch amid the tall grass, she pulled them and used a rock found near the forest to crush them. Adding her saliva to turn it into a paste, she returned to the wounded beast and applied it to the wound. Satisfied with her work, she pulled several blades of tall grass out from the ground and wove them into a small bowl. Feeling comfortable enough with her work, she left the wounded beast and found the stream once more. Lucy arrived with a bowl of water for her new friend to drink from, and the fourth day ended. Weak from hunger, Lucy set off into the forest in search of the keeper with a new companion by her side. A slight limp slowed its pace, but with how weak Lucy was, it didn't matter. Unsure where to go, she took a chance and asked the beast if it knew where humans lived, and with a huff it altered their course, and she followed, because she was close enough to smell food. Or when she was close enough to smell food, her body collapsed from hunger, and she passed out. Stirring awake, Lucy found herself inside a primitive hut, lying down on a mat covered in animal fur. A woman sat next to her with their legs folded underneath, sitting on their feet. Still too weak to move, Lucy asked, "Food?" Nodding, the woman replied, "Yes, please, let me help feed you." Thankful that she could understand, Lucy said, "Thank you," and opened her mouth. Belly full, Lucy fell asleep. This cycled for several days until she was strong enough to move about. The first thing she did was ask the woman about the beast she was traveling with. They smiled and guided them outside where the beast lay near the entrance. It rose when it heard them leave the hut, and Lucy dropped to her knees and hugged it. Coughing into her hand, the woman said, "The elder would like to speak with you. Please follow." Entering the largest hut in the small settlement, Lucy sat before the elder with the beast, who refused to stay outside despite the women's protests. The old man rose from his feet on the floor and raised his staff. "The gods foretold your arrival. They may know me as the Keeper of Knowledge. Be prepared, for I will unlock your potential, dear reincarnated soul." Taken back by how easy it felt reaching an answer she had died repeatedly for, the realization she had almost starved to death reaching the Keeper humbled her. The Keeper's staff glowed over Lucy's head. Lowering it, the Keeper touched the staff to her forehead, and a force rippled through her body, leaving her stunned. "Reach out your hand and say the word, 'Appear,' and a divine vision will show itself to you." Following their advice, Lucy reached out and said, "Appear." Then watched a screen manifest in the air in front of her. At the top of the screen read "Reincarnation's Dying Wish" in bold letters. Below is a list of rewards. It specified reincarnation tokens as the currency, only obtained by reincarnating. Because of course they did. The number of tokens available to spend was 7, one for each time she died. Browsing the list, she saw the most expensive reward cost 100 tokens and allowed one question to the being in charge. Ignoring that for now, Lucy spent 2 for the ability to speak with animals, 4 for a weapon that would stay with her after death, and saved 1 as a reserve. Willing the screen to vanish, Lucy said, "Thank you, Keeper," then turned to the beast and asked, "Do you have a name? I find it rude to keep referring to you as a beast in my head." Huffing, the beast stared into her eyes and spoke inside her mind. I gotta do another voice like that. Okay. "That is considerate of you, child. You may call me Shelley." Scrunching her nose, Lucy said, "Can I just call you Shell?" "If you must." Grinning, the keeper said, "It is thanks to your help that the guardian beast of Ishtanda has returned to us." Intrigued, she looked down at Shell and said, "I didn't know you were so important. What will you do now?" "As much as I would like to walk by your side, child, death hangs over you. A destiny that drags you by the skin of its teeth. I wish to remain in this forest and protect the people." Resting her hand on the dagger that manifested in a sheath on her hip after she spent 4 tokens, Lucy let the tension go from her shoulders and said, "If I ever want to know the truth, I must move on and face death." Hugging Shell goodbye, Lucy walked away from the people who cared for her, towards certain death and the promise of countless more, till she could pay for the chance to ask one question. She heard a snap above her head and looked up in time to see a tree branch falling. Dodging out of the way, Lucy wanted to celebrate when a giant ape fell on top of her, crushing her spine. Opening her eyes, Lucy willed her screen up and blinked at the number 2 next to the token counter. Trying to speak, she heard a hiss, feeling a forked tongue in her mouth. Not liking what she saw, she tried looking at herself and found that half her body was a snake, leaving snake scales that covered up her lady bits on the upper half. A voice nearby said, "Hey guys, I found another one." Reaching for her dagger, Lucy said, "This is going to suck. Dun dun dun."
Very intriguing.
Yeah, yes, Helen, same there. But of course, there. That's what we're known for.
If not friend, why friend shaped?
Hmm.
And why so fluffy?
That's the eternal question, isn't it?
Which I modified that saying the other day to send to a friend because you know those snowball launcher things? Right. Somebody sent me a picture going, just because it fits doesn't mean it should be done. And it had something with a pin in it in the, and I went, if not launcher, why launcher shaped? Mm.
I just gotta say to this author, if we read through, I don't know, we're averaging what, 2 to 3 deaths per submission. So if we read through 30 more of these and she gets her 100 tokens and she goes, "Why?" Or, and this supreme being just goes 42, I will find you. Or if she says, "So I get one question, right?" And it goes, "Yes," and then sends her back and she has to do it all over again because that was her question, I will find you.
Oh man. Okie dokie. Spinneroonie. Me.
All right, we're not allowed to read our own. So, Cash, I think this one's yours.
We're not.
Which one?
When was there a rule that we can't read our own? Because I've been doing it for years.
Yeah. I mean, I'll read it.
Are you offering to read it then, Izzy? Go for it. Sounds like you're still
No.
coughing.
Yes, I am still coughing. I'm just like, where did this previously unheard of rule come from?
None of these lovely folks to my left over here get to read theirs.
Kesh reads hers a lot.
I'm talking about the chat, okay?
Especially when I
Oh. Yes, when you put in German, like I will totally fake my way through Spanish, especially with the Mexican accent. Okay, not the the one from Spain. But if you're throwing German at me, you're throwing it at Kesh.
That didn't work for me last week, okay? I would have loved it if Cash had taken the German one because my German was a thing.
Yeah, back on Trisha put in the chat that back in the beginning she read hers. It was so much easier to be able to get people popped up, etc. On TikTok than it is now. But yeah, we used to let people read their own if they wanted to. There was never any pressure to be on camera. All right, are we ready for me pulling a Trisha?
That's not a setup. On the ridge, Donna lingered beneath the shade of a cottonwood while volunteers drifted away from the pavilion in loose clusters. The whispers of the wind carried the scent of rain and forgotten memories. The storm still lingered in the air with another hanging low on the western horizon. Fresh cut pine mingled with the wet earth and churned mud beneath dozens of boots. Somewhere below, her hammer rang twice before someone shouted for another box of screws. A chainsaw barked back to life near the riverbank. Hold, please. Work resumed almost before the last paper plate found the trash barrel. Donna's gaze settled on Maggie and Sven as they returned to work. Ingrid caught the woman's sleeve and steered her toward another pile of debris with the confidence she'd used all morning with her. Maggie accepted another pair of gloves without protest, nodded at whatever Ingrid said, and then bent to gather broken branches beside Aiden and two high school boys who immediately began teasing one another. Donna smiled as she watched Maggie laugh at something one of the boys said before shaking her head and tossing another armload onto the trailer. Across the field, Sven had already disappeared back into the half-repaired gazebo, measuring another board while arguing with someone about blank. Emery circled him like an overeager puppy until he finally handed her a tape measure to hold. Ivan stood talking with one of the electricians again, pointing toward a transformer while the lineman listened with obvious amusement. Donna let herself watch the whole picture, warmth spreading through her like a cup of hearty chili on a deep winter's night. The town didn't register the woman and her children as strangers any longer. The wind shifted again, rain, pine, and fresh sawdust scent looming across her once more. For the briefest moment, a different afternoon brushed against the edges of her thoughts. Another storm, another pair of borrowed work gloves, another freely offered plate of food. She couldn't say how many years it had been, but it didn't matter. She'd long since abandoned thoughts of that time in her life. Demons never changed. Neither did the resilience of their survivors. A faint smile touched her mouth. A burst of laughter drifted across the park. Donna looked up. Gonna be one of those nights when my voice is gonna kind of kick out. Maggie had splashed through a patch of mud trying to avoid one of the teenagers carrying a wheelbarrow, nearly losing her balance completely. The near collision earned her a good-natured laugh from everyone within earshot, herself included, before she picked the branch she'd been carrying back up and kept walking. Maggie belonged here. Donna felt something loosen inside her. Hope was dangerous, but still. She thought of anonymous usernames scattered across message boards, women she'd never met, questions answered at 2 in the morning, safety advice and directions offered, assistance coordinated. Maggie had been different from the others. She had come to the boards already prepared. She had come with a clear understanding of what she wanted and needed. She'd come only for the missing pieces. Research skills could be taught, sure, but handling so much solely on one's own, that was a different level of survivor. That was a leader. Someone called Donna's name from further up the trail. She looked away from the cleanup and offered a little wave. As long as demons existed, there would always be another survivor, another family. Perhaps it wouldn't always be her negotiating their missing pieces. The thought settled over her with surprising ease. For the first time and longer than she cared to admit, she found herself imagining a legacy beyond her, the work continuing long after she was gone. She turned toward the volunteer cheerfully jogging her way and walked to meet them. Behind her, hammers rang across headwaters, swallowed almost immediately by laughter. Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, that was actually perfect because it's in Donna's point of view, and she's a 70-year-old woman. So the paper thin voice was perfect.
Yeah, it's not gonna be perfect for everything.
There we go. Hints to things. Oh,
Oh,
hydrate or dihydrate. I missed that.
I went to get my water during the story, so that's probably why that popped up.
Well, as you saw, hydrating was not helping. That's what happens when you have to talk for 8 hours on end one day one day, and
Yup.
then go and move on to something else where you talk a lot.
Yup. Which just made me realize I really haven't been on phones now for almost 2 years. Holy shit. All right, refresh.
I was just trying to time it right.
All right, bingo, bango. 1, 2, 3.
That worked out.
Geller. God, fourth.
You good, Izzy, or am I taking this one?
Please. I don't know that my lungs are going to recover.
All right.
This is what happens when we get Izzy going at the beginning of the damn show.
Yeah, I did this to myself. I wasn't here. Yeah, okay. Janaya was like most of the people in the waiting room, as long as you counted being made out of literal nothing and prismatic floating dots as most people. Bored out of her mind while waiting for anything to happen. Beside her was Nathan, a mantis headed man with no neck or arms, his hands floating around his torso. In fact, he only had a red coat with black pants that adjusted to his odd shape. This did not stop him from defying the laws of biology by frowning and letting out a sigh. I knew I should have tested that spell on safer parameters, Nathan murmured under his breath. It would have saved us all from this boredom. If there's any consolation for that, it was my fault for touching the portal, Janaya said. I mean, is it not like the security here is going to metaphysically poison and bribe us with the antidote to use it against our allies? Unless you consider boredom a poison, Nathan pointed out. Although that's a very dark thing to say. Like, seriously, what kind of adventures you have to did you have to say something like that? Well, it isn't my first time traversing cosmologies through summons. Some were nice, others are what you people of matter refer to as shit shows, Janaya said with a noticeably clipped tone. They weren't particularly nice, as you can imagine. Before Nathan could continue the conversation, the door of the waiting room opened sideways, letting an armored human Helena enter. The light of the room bathed the outfit of metal that flowed like cloth, but given the scratches on the chest, shoulders, left thigh, and right arm, it told the duo of how often it was used and that it was more solid than it looked. Helena. Goodness me. Helena took off the military helmet, letting her pink tipped brown locks flow freely. The light of the room played on her cinnamon skin as a shadow fell upon her jade colored eyes. She seemed intimidating at first, until she let out a tired sigh. Okay, so we checked your testimonies, and it was nobody's fault, Helena said. I still will say voidwalkers like you, Janaya, should know better than to touch portals, even out of curiosity. I mean, most of the time my adventures don't end up being screwed up, Janaya said, receiving a blank stare from both Nathan and Helena. But yeah, I should have been more wary about that. As for Nathan, as for Nathan, the spell you tried to use to take a familiar through the portal you created worked somewhat as intended, Helena stated. But instead of hitting a universe, it went into the void. Well, that explains reality unraveling in the lab. Nathan scratched the back of his head. Good thing it didn't grow to be more of a problem, right? As long as the portal was closed after that incident, yes, Helena said. There is the issue of returning them, but you already know, don't you? Yeah, Nathan said as he looked down at the floor. Voidlings' reality colonies float around and are nomadic. Cosmologies or other planes of existence weren't that different from planets, although instead of orbiting, they drifted in the void, often interacting with each other. Some bounced off each other or violently collided. Mostly, they phased through with little consequence. Trying to find your way through, while not impossible, was unbelievably hard. After that, it was trying to find the correct needle on a plot of infinities in a haystack on a plot of infinities of haystacks. Nomadic reality colonies like Jania's, in which souls and void elementals like her could live, there were a lot of them, and they didn't use standard physics. One would think it would make it comparatively easier with infinite realities. And it was, in a way, but only slightly. Aren't you already using their signal to try and track down their home? Right? Nathan asked the human consultant. Can I help? We will call for your assistance if necessary, but for now, we will track down their. Hmm. Excuse me, what gender do you identify with? Elena politely asked Janaya. Her, he, they, Janaya responded. Any is fine by me. Ah, okay. As I was saying, we are tracking down their home. Helena put her hands behind her back. In the meantime, we need to give her a place to stay, and we thought it would be preferable if she stayed with you, Nathan. Nathan hummed thoughtfully and shrugged his shoulders. I don't see any issue with it. What do you think, Janaya? If it's sufficiently accommodating, I will not complain. Janaya's prismatic body glowed. The Nexus cognitive language translated the reaction as a smile. Well, with that out of the way, I only need the documentation for your identification, Janaya. Helena smiled as she walked toward the door. She stopped and turned back, offering Janaya a hand with a nervous expression. Oh, I almost forgot. Janaya, I welcome you to the Nexus. I hope you have a great stay here while we find your way back home. Looks like it's going to be a calm adventure now, ending up in the Nexus of all places. I suppose pleasant accidents do exist, Janaya thought, amused. Amongst all of their travels through different cosmological realities, they didn't expect to end one prematurely. They would be lying to themselves if they said they didn't like this outcome. The pleasure is mine, the voidling answered to Helena's welcome, creating a hand made out of prismatic dots that were shining in joy as they reciprocated. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, you never know where you're gonna end up.
Yeah, don't
There,
touch the portals. Just you come across a portal, do not touch the portals.
you didn't make it. There were not a lot of typos, Gather. I'll tell you right now. If I stumbled a lot, it was because of uh, the font. If I'm being honest, I know that that font is great for people who have dyslexia. I don't. So if that's what you prefer to write in, then by all means continue writing it. I may not always be the one reading your story, and even if I am, I will adapt. But that was the reason that I stumbled here and there.
Can't remember. Does which font?
Comic Sans.
Yep. Okay. I have problems with that one too.
And here's the thing, somebody told me that, and I tried it, and Izzy looked at me after, about an hour and a half, 2 hours of trying to get through, I think it was, like, 1 page, and she looked at me and she's like, "Just put it back on yours. Just put it back on yours. You don't have to do it."
Yeah. In fact, there was a document that we were working on together, and Julie typically does better with anything that is sans serif, which means it doesn't look like a cousin to Times New Roman. It looks like a cousin to Arial, right? Um, I can't stand reading in that because it makes everything blur. So when I'm working on the document, I change everything to a serif font And when she's working on it, she changes everything. Look, collaboration comes in many forms.
Right. And I want to escape. Oh yeah, it's very different from the other stuff that you've put out. So we're seeing the range here, and it's great.
I'm getting it might just be the way that my brain is connecting dots and, association tonight, but I'm getting a lot of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy from a lot of these, including yours, Galler.
I mean, not necessarily wrong. I
I saw the big long escape in the chat. My brain immediately went Stray Kids. Because of course it did.
Okay, Izzy, set up the wheel. Let's roll.
Come escape with me now.
I was late on that one. It's okay.
Get said!
I think that's me again. I've got so many voices I have to do. and I and I and I really have to hope I remember the voices I used for which characters last time. There were so many. Content warning. Some nudity and rudeness. The whispering wind carried the scent of rain over Duke Tavor's gardens. In the rustle of leaves, creak of trellises, cooing of doves, and gentle wash of falling fountain water flitted the ghosts of half-forgotten memories. Tavor walked the gravel drive pathway between the flowering shrubs and blooming roses with half of himself in the present, while the other walked in the distant past. So it was that when he caught sight of a golden haired woman strolling across his pathway, he was certain that it was his beloved Renweir, returned to life. The girl he had first met beneath the rose arch while her lord father had been visiting his own on business. The lady he had played with in the waters of the garden's tiny creek. The woman who had introduced him to love beneath the boughs of the apple tree, who now resided in the family crypt, waiting mutely. Taver blinked, realizing only when she was gone that he had seen their daughter sweeping by with the gardener, Noxric. A sigh escaped Taver's lips, muttering, "The rise of the dead cannot come soon enough." He took a step to follow them and asked how repairs to the North Flower Bed were progressing, when the voice of Zunthil called to him. "My Duke, are you coming to the meal?" It would seem it would seem that the one carrying that missive to warn of his tardiness departed immediately prior to the matter being resolved, and he thought it useless to send a second messenger who would arrive only hours after the first and near the same time as himself. Well, he might have ridden faster, Taver muttered, a drip of water and then another tapping his pale locks. What has happened. Let us go see to our guests and hope that all of this is not a portent of things to come. My lord, Zunthil said, giving a short bow and spinning on his heel. Taver fell in behind the man. As the rain began to fall in earnest, he thought of calling for his daughter, but the words never left his lips. Taver muttering, She's grown now. She'll do what she deems best. He followed Zunthal over a little bridge to the south door. The dusty scent of the tapestries and banners hanging from the walls wafted over them both. Scenes of gallantry, love, and religion staring at them from all around. The images were so familiar to Tabor that his eyes glanced over them without truly noticing what they were. He did recognize laughter, his pace quickening as he turned a corner and entered the cavernous parlor. Light streamed in through the four towering windows, the glass panes shining like water suspended in a net. Arrayed under the beams were his guests, the Duke having arrived last to his own gathering. On the divan, wreathed by the glow of the windows, were Baron Defro and his wife Ilanva. The former was balding, squat, and with a long nose, while the latter was slender, a head taller than her husband, and with a pinched little nose. Both were the source of the laughter, their hands clasped together as the others joined in. The graying Bishop Vrago sat back on a cushioned chair, wearing casual gray robes lacking the ornate headgear and gold cloth of his usual office. Beside him, a man Taver did not recognize had taken a chair beside the bishop, his smile only accentuating how sour his face looked. On the other divan sat the young chaplain Freethry, the right hand of Vrago, who ministered to Taver's family. At his shoulder was Lady Wolrifa, with the corpulent Mayor Brimure rounding out the gathering. As the laughter subsided, all eyes turned to Taver. Defro saying, "Ah, welcome to the party you called, my lord. I shall be sure to arrange for a similar assembly on the morning when I intend to sleep in." "I was gone for a quarter hour or less," Taver said tersely, dropping himself into his armchair and leaning back against the soft cushioning. "And you yourself sent word that I ought to assume that the gathering would be late. Ev- Everyone makes mistakes now and then," Wolrifa said, shooting Taver a knowing glance as she smeared soft cheese on a piece of hard bread. "Peace be upon everyone," Vrago said, waving his hand. "There is no call for strife but joy this harvest season." "Then the yields were good this year?" Taver asked. "The best in 20 years," Brimure replied, swirling the herbal infusion in his cup as he sniffed the bouquet. "We should offer our thanks for El and Isis for the bounty." "Some of your people are burning offerings to Sif and Thor for their crops," the newcomer said quietly. "A tiny few," Taver said dismissively, reaching for the wine carafe. "It matters not how, so long as they keep the laws." "Speaking of laws," Mayor Brimure began, only for the newcomer to cut him off. "That is blasé attitude for one sworn to the great god." "Oh, I'm messing up all these lines, guys. I apologize," he said, glaring at Taver with narrowed eyes. "I beg your pardon," Taver said icily, setting the carafe back as his hands twitched. "Who are you? I don't remember inviting you to this gathering." "Hmm. Messenger Threcker, here on church business from the High Bishop of Ragsa." He tipped his hat, the flaps over his ears bobbing like furry wings. "And I am here on urgent matters of faith." "And those might be?" Lady Yovana asked. "I need a copy made of an important historical document. It seems that Azrael was the only extant scroll," Threcker replied. His eyes flicked to Bishop Vrago, "as well as to inform the good bishop that his presence will be needed at a meeting to fill a vacant seat." "A messenger will be sufficient to convey my opinion on the matter," Vrago replied, chuckling. I am not one for travel, especially in my age, and a list of preferences will be all that is needed for so routine a matter as this. And are we straying from the topic at hand? Brimure said hastily. We must coordinate on taxation given the record harvest and what might be done with the bounty. Yes, and I'm sure you might want to make sure that your merchant friends pay all that they owe, eh? Dayfro asked. Come to open your purse right now, eh? The other chuckled, Brimure opening his lips to reply. A commotion echoed from the hall, all eyes turning to the door. In spilled the previously absent Baron Hildair. The man looking excited. The mayor pointed, saying, "Ah, good. We are all present." Everyone jump up! Hildair croaked, breathing heavily. You have to see what's passing by the city. What in the world are you talking about? Taver asked. A horseman is forcing a naked man to march down the road, Hildair crowed. And he's a royal messenger. Taver blinked, a rebuke forming on his tongue. Are you unchanged since being 5 years old? As though in answer, Zundel jumped up and said, This, this we must see. I can't remember any of my voices. Yes, I am quite curious, Ilvana said, rising with her husband. With a groan, Taver stood, exchanging an exasperated glance with Wulrifa. Then they were off, leaving the important business undone so that they could take in the humiliation of one of the king's men. Shafts of afternoon light stabbed through the windows of the Hawthorne Inn's upper room, flashing across galleons and the pretty little Clamtias, uh, and flashing across Galleon and the pretty little Clamtia. The dark-haired, mousy-faced woman had once been a palace maidservant, before she had been discovered with child and dismissed. Now, Bagri, the boy she had carried, rested in the adjoining room while his mother sighed as she lay upon the bed. Her vacant eyes stared up at him like he was her hero, the man who would make her a princess. Oh, my lord prince, you are wise and good to us. I do nothing less for my family, Galleon replied, pushing himself off the bed and stretching. His feet carried him to a pitcher of water on the table, his eyes peering down through the window at the road. My prince, Clamtia cooed, crawling to the edge of the bed and looking expectantly upon him. When will we declare our love openly? Galleon glanced back at her, the light revealing the sag in her breasts and wrinkles already at her brows. The time is not ripe. There are dark forces at court, ones that would tear us both asunder and our son as well. Were we to make our love public, wedding one another is out of the question for the time being. I see, Clamtia said sadly, sinking down onto the sheets and pressing her face into the blanket. Galleon looked out the window again to keep her from seeing the amusement in his eyes. To think I once worried that this dullard would figure out the ruse. She'll be an old maid in a rocking chair with 3 of our bastards around herself and still think that she is only days away from wearing a crown. Out of the stillness behind him she spoke, her voice strained. I have seen the visions brought to me by Frigg and Bryn. Our son will wear a crown. This I know. I only fear that I will not live to wear one myself. Galleon bit down on his thumb to keep from laughing. The urge subsided as shadows appeared on the road. He squinted, a thrill running through him as he saw that it was the messenger, Pelios, walking before a horseman holding aloft the raven banner of Kenneland. He hurried to his pile of clothes, saying, Duty calls, I fear. Must you go? We spend so little time together, my prince, Clamtia said, her wrinkles worsening as she frowned sadly. Take heart, my dove. This will play into our future. I will, Clamtia said, rolling over onto her back and letting her head loll off the end of the bed to watch him dress. Soon Galleon looked like a prince once more, with fine shirt, polished boots, and a cloak of black velvet. After hesitating, he leaned down and gave her a kiss, petting her cheek as he said, I will be along before you know it. Take care. Same to you, Clamtia said, remaining there among the sheets like a hound. Galleon marched through the door and stepped into the antechamber, where he found his guard, Letier, playing a card game with Bagri, his son glancing up with wistful eyes. He ruffled the boy's hair, uttering, Go see to your mother. I'll be going now. Dada, Bagri babbled, trying to grab his hand. Galleon deftly avoided the questing mitts and swept toward the stairs, his guard hurrying after him. The two descended to the seldom used hallway below and thence out the back doors. The shadow of the city walls fell over them, the gate towers looming overhead. Letier coughed. When are you going to break it to the girl? Come now, you heard her vision, Galleon said softly, his eyes flicking up to the inn's highest window to make sure they weren't being overheard. Our son will wear a crown. Heathen hogwash, but it feels mighty cruel to string the girl along. She has a room overlooking the road, and we have a date with Pelios. Follow me. The two walked around the corner of the inn, their boots clapping on the stones of the road. A smirk curled Galleon's lips, growing deeper the closer he drew. For something he had suspected from the window became apparent. Pelios wore only his skin and whatever grime he had picked up along the way, the odd-looking brown being nothing more than a film of trail dust. They were 20 paces away when the horseman stopped short, calling, Are you expecting this man? Not in the state he's in, but yes, Galleon called back, unable to hide his mirth. Then my task is finished, the horseman said, spurring his mount to turn about and then trotting off. Galleon laughed again as he came within arm's reach of Pelios, looking past him to the Kenelander who had been escorting him. Is that your horse he's running away on? It would not be my horse any longer, now would it? Pelios asked evenly, though his stubble-covered cheeks were beet red. Still he looked directly forward and kept his hands at his sides. Otherwise, I would have her. I suppose not, Galleon snorted. I take it things did not go well, Letier said. That is a matter of perspective, Pelios said, closing his eyes. There was talk of delivering unto you a head in a box. Whatever the case, we have an answer from Kenneland, Galleon said, rubbing his chin. We must begin plans for war. First, may I have a cloak to cover myself? Pelios asked, his hands twitching at his sides. Galleon motioned with his hand toward Letier, his guard reluctantly taking off his cloak and tossing it to Pelios. The messenger wrapped it around his waist, muttering, Many thanks. Save your thanks for my father, Galleon said, marching back toward the inn, and make sure he doesn't know that we spoke. My lord? Pelios asked, blinking. You heard me. Go on with Letier. I shall be along behind you. It is not allowed for a prince to go unguarded, Letier said quickly. Fret not. I will be shadowing you the whole way back, never out of sight. Keep an eye out for the old man in the cloak, and you'll be doing your job admirably. May I ask why? Letier pleaded. Because I need to go work on my disguising skills, and it does me good to seem mysterious, Galleon thought. Speaking aloud, I have my reasons. You are loyal men, both of you, and I trust you will fulfill my will. Yes, lordship. the two men murmured, walking off toward the gates together. Galleon swept back toward the inn. There he entered the bathing rooms and changed into his guise, giggling to himself as he pictured the scene of himself rushing to his father when the news arrived. His guise, fooling everyone. It is never a bad thing to have an air of mystique around oneself. Keep your friends guessing and your enemies sweating that you could be anywhere and up to anything. Dun dun dun. I missed a lot of voices there. I'm gonna have to write down on like a little sticky note the voices I used for certain characters and rewatch the VOD for that one because I liked the voices in that one better. And this one was a lot of pronunciation, so that was my focus tonight.
Still did pretty good.
The way you can pull off pompous asshole astounds me.
That is the most wonderful backhanded compliment I've ever heard, madam. Another one for the fan club. Would you like an autograph? I'm not gonna lie. Every time I read about this Galleon character, it's so funny because two images pop up in my head at the same time. I get the visual image of Prince Charming from the Shrek movies, and I get Gilderoy Lockhart's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
Ooh.
Okay, we are.
I'm
We've
not saying you
been
were.
at-
That's just me.
There's somebody to hate more than Umbridge? Stop. Nope. I'm not squirreling because I DNF'd it. All right, we have 6 left. Is that the halfway submitter point?
Yeah, we had 12, so
Okay. I don't know. I've only watched the movies because I DNF'd the book. So, what do we say? We take a little breath, get refills for your water, your tea. You know, get tissues. DNF stands for did not finish. So if I'm not feeling a book and it's not for me, I put it onto a DNF list. And I keep track of when and where in the books I DNF and why. I get such hate from netizens for saying that I DNF'd A Court of Thorn and Roses, also known as ACOTAR, at 12 pages. I'm like, well, when it's filled with a bunch of vapid and vain characters who are, young adults, teenagers, and you live with one that acts the exact same way, and they need a quick kick every so often, but you can't because you can't hit kids. You're like, I read to escape reality. So I'm escaping my reality to come face to face with a bunch of characters that act exactly like my stepdaughter. No, thank you.
oh man, I almost let out some real hot takes there. Goodness me. We should go on break before I get us canceled.
Yeah,
We very much should. All right. So
The other week, and I just nope.
I'm gonna leave it
We lost
up.
Here she is.
No, we didn't lose me. I didn't.
You weren't talking. I get it.
No, I muted the mic and then kept talking like a dumbass. That's what I'm most scared of, Hellenic, because I want to read Les Miserables. I want to read it so bad, but I'm afraid that I'm absolutely going to hate it because it is my favorite musical of all fucking time. And then you've got the fact that, the Count of Monte Cristo. I love Alexander Dumas. I DNF'd it at 50% of the way through the audiobook. And I normally listen at 1 time speed. I was listening to that sucker at 3 times speed, just trying to get to a point where it got good. And I was like, okay, I'm at 50%. I can't do it anymore. Bye. See, you know what though, Doc? Like, I really enjoyed Monte Cristo until he got back to society. It was no longer interesting to me. I guess I just have a thing against vapid and vain people.
I mean,
I'm still here.
You're not vapid. It has to be vapid and vain, okay?
Oh,
You're
God,
not
yeah.
vapid.
Okay, at least I got one of the two.
What, Cash?
You survived me in my 20s.
But you weren't vain in your 20s.
I think how vapid I was probably made up for that.
I didn't say it. Please note. I simply said that she was not vain.
I was face case.
I have a good question to keep us from,
Was?
Yeah, my question to keep us from monopoly levels of ruined friendships. Does it count as a DNF if you never start the books?
No, that's called a TBR.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
exactly that.
because there's
I mean, it is a
there's a series of
TBR,
books.
but if
There's
I
a series of
decide that
books that I
I'm not
refuse to
going
read.
to, well, then it's not on your TBR. It's not a DNF. It's
Okay.
nothing to you. You are indifferent to it.
I'm definitely not indifferent. I just, after hearing about the plot, I refuse to ever read it.
I mean, I also listened to 50% of another book. And when we got about halfway through, and I had to listen to the word door 15 times in 5 sentences, that was a scathing 1-star review on my Goodreads.
Doc, I'll tell you that the closest I've come to reading a single word of this particular series was the one time I handled the first book in the series to pull off of a shelf and put into a box, and I read the title, and that was it. And I asked about the series, and then was given a summary, and quickly found a lot of plot holes and issues that I didn't like about it, and glaring issues with, like, why do people like this? But hey, to each their own, I guess. And decided I would never read the series at that point.
Nope. I won't even watch the movies. Now, do I absolutely adore the soundtrack? Fuck yeah. But I will not watch 50 Shades movies. I will not read the book. But I will listen to the heck.
As somebody who has both read the books, seen the movies, and sat there in the fucking theater when they fucked up the plot line. And from the back, now mind you, the only fucking spot, because I wanted to get there early. because I wanted to be seated in a very specific spot. No, we ended up in the upper fucking corner, right there by the stairs, and everybody and their brother had to get up a thousand times to get fucking popcorn. So I was already pissed off. I was already fucking pissed off when that happened. Then we're sitting there, and they get to this one part in I think it was the second movie. And I'm like, "No! No! Bad! Bad!" From the back of the fucking theater, and we're in a high rise. So you can hear echoing. Robbie is sitting there poking me in the ribs. My now ex best friend is sitting there just staring at me, trying to get me to shut up.
Are they your ex best friend because you were yelling in the theater?
No, they're my ex best friend because they decided pussy was better than being friends and left out of here owing me about 5 grand.
Oh, okay. I opened that can of worms. How
Oh, and let's not forget they also called fucking they also called DCF on me after
oh my
I told them to fucking leave. Ugh.
God.
Joke was on her. When they got here, they looked around, they went, "Why am I here?" I'm like, "You tell me and we'll both know." They're like, "I think it's better I just say goodbye and hope you have a nice day." And I'm like, "Cool." They're like, but now since I'm no longer handling this and I will go back and tell everybody that it's unfounded, can I get one of your menus?" Because for those that don't know, I do semi still run a sweet treats company. Semi.
How does one only semi run a company?
You mean semi run the sweet treats company, or because technically now it all is lumped into the Fisher Entertainment. So
Ah,
I
got
run different parts of the company. I just don't run that part of the company. Well, unless I get an order. Uh, but yeah, that was the fun part. The only reason I didn't beat her ass back then, um, was literally because mom said she wasn't worth it. Told me to walk away. She's not worth it. There it is. All right, fine. Now, mind you, I still had to work with this bitch when I worked at Tyson, and I was the one who got her a job there. That was a lot of fun. Um, then I got walked out. Everybody knows mom passed away, and it was like 4 days after mom had passed away, and I was sitting in Walmart because, of course, I was at fucking Walmart. Um, and her and I'm guessing fiance, I don't know, don't fucking care. Walk up on me, and she thought she was gonna kick me while I was down, and I turned around and looked at her and I said, "You do realize nobody holds the leash anymore?" I said, "If nobody's coming to stop me or nobody's coming to save me, nobody's coming to stop me." That was fun. Oh wow, thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Oh, we
Thank you
got a new
very much.
server?
Thank you for the 5 gifted subs, Naomi Boo.
Oh, that's
The
friend.
the lucky recipients of those gifted subs being Ace, Shut Up and Write, Tarkin Dragon, Bitzer, and Death's Head.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Okay. Anywho, now that we've had something positive happen, let's keep that one rolling. What is that lazy? Personally, I think the lazy furball is literally just looks like with the way they're sunken into the blanket, they look like they're part of the blanket. It looks literally like they
Oh,
are the design on the blanket. It is Kieran.
somebody just chose what? Oh, it's suggesting something to me. I see.
Ah,
I didn't know we had to choose the prompt option. Like when you with your points.
oh yeah, I think it's like at 100,000. You can override the wheel and you can choose the prompt, or you
Yeah.
can override the numbers and choose the prompt. Yeah, we put that on there.
Can we add a low tier
The
reward where people get to name a character in my book? I've got so many characters that need names.
We have that. It's at
No, specifically
where is it?
200 bubble points or something. 500,
Oh,
something
okay.
more than the
Well,
5,000.
yeah. We'll talk to Shar,
Okay.
see what we can do there.
Because every time I've gone in to try and fuck with those, I fuck them up. So we will let Shar
That's why
handle.
I said we'll talk to Shar. I will let Shar know that needs to be adjusted, and we're good.
Yeah, no, this is
Also,
separate.
if you guys have any suggestions for bubble purchases that you would like to see,
Yes, to
please let
see.
us know in the Discord.
I mean,
By the
we
way, if you're
have
not part of the
come up.
Discord,
Yes,
not part of the
join,
Discord, why the fuck not? Join. We're more
right?
unhinged over there than we are here. And you see how unhinged we are here.
Right?
Yeah, I think I want Shar to make us one that is literally the penguin running across the screen with like wires. Uh,
Right? Right? Well, and since we've been on Twitch for over a year now, we have come up with so many different catchphrases and things like that. We need to get some new, some fresh. These were some that are popular that we started with, and so time for a refresh.
it is. We will bring this up at the next team meeting. When that will be, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Um,
Eventually.
but
Um, so Julie, I think I'm keeping this one out for you because I accidentally put two wrenches on it.
is that going to short us?
We have 450.
Okay, that's
I
cool.
think we'll
Hey, all you gotta do is put a little bit of glue, the whole, or put a little bit of glue in between, and like make the V out of it. Like, of course,
I'm
that was
like,
Julie. Like, did I just do
well,
that? Yes, yes, you did. Do I want to undo it? No.
no, I don't. Because I literally like plopped it in there and I was like, wait, that felt heavier. For the record, in the last hour and a half, I went from having none done to this many. So we're
That's a
just
lot.
booking right along. I'm just booking right along. I
Basically,
actually
we are keeping Izzy entertained while also entertaining the masses.
exactly. I honestly thought about lowering the camera so that you guys could just see my hands going back and forth, but you guys also enjoy the expressions and the reactions. So
I mean,
Yep, spin that wheel would be a good one. All right. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, spin.
The joke's running through my mind. I don't need
It's
to.
okay.
I don't need to
We
take
know you're a
Izzy out.
dirty-minded individual.
I am, and this one would have been great, but I don't need to take you out of commission again.
Luna!
Luna! Luna
This
is
one has
also
a
a member of our 666 club. Because that's where it landed tonight.
oh, the word count, and this one has a reader request. So,
Oh, is this the one where I was requested?
mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me get my reader. My contacts are just getting too dry. I mean, the one that I wrote that had 666 words was purely coincidental, but it fit for the story too. So, all right. Home of our hearts, right? Oh, okay. Yep. Never mind. Found my name. What a beauteous home you make. Do you know? Do you even realize? Surely you must. I'm not sure if I should tell you this, but I want you to know. Firm, sturdy, foundational, moonlight through the fog, sunlight chasing away displeased storm clouds. Goddess, you must know. Just as you know, even the safest homes hold signs of weariness, of aching bones and dried blood beneath the comforting wallpaper. Your favorite shade of black that burns in ways you fight so hard against. Cobwebs hidden from searching eyes, cradling secrets you desire to leave locked away. Scars that still drip with the echoes of a childhood, a life you should not have endured, but you did and still do. You carry countless inner storms that many people could not survive. A beautiful, brave little child who's grown into a haunted, honorable adult. I wish I could hold you in my eyes, in my arms, in the same ways I carry you within my heart. You are your own force of nature, honey-eyed, honey, honeyed eyes, your leadership, long onyx hair like a thick shimmering curtain, your strength, scarred hands that hold so much, your emotional intelligence, confidence and passion that spurs others to action. Maybe I shouldn't show you this. I keep it to myself, but my words and actions have devastated you before, settled sulfur into your blood when I was hurt because I was lost. I shouldn't let you see, but angels above and devils below know that I want you to. For you to know how my pulse thumps out your name during the times I can't remember my own. For you to know that my demons thrive best when they get to play with yours. For you to know how much I admire you and how inspirational you are. Oh, one of my dearest friends, one of my most beloved humans, you must certainly think me mad writing this, harboring these feelings all of this time, after blows were struck, silence initiated access within the tentatively re-extended, a tightrope soaked with kerosene, a lit match mere inches from setting it ablaze. A heavy push and pull over a threshold we've crossed and uncrossed and recrossed many times. The shattering of stained glass on the altars of our cores. But being with you is also evening swims in a cooling lake beneath the observant cosmos, familiar shelter during ferocious hurricanes, gold pouring into our severed veins, that bothersome red thread that tangles our breaths ever closer despite the miles and miles shared between. To fall, to catch, to burn, be burned and soothed, succumbing to that light and being reborn from its darkness. If this is our madness, my darling, then I'll hold sanity at arm's length. Allow us to dance within it together. To rest my ear against your heart, to have your lips pressed to my forehead, embracing in jubilant ecstasy, primal safety, that bliss. To become a star among the others within your sky once again would be tranquility. To have a seat at our large kitchen table, tendrils of forgotten memories now pulling into focus through the haze, soft, vulnerable, achingly real. This is family. Your whispers carried across the rain-soaked earth, the thick gravel of your rumbling tenor, the sweetest menace, the most caring tease. These are the most precious salves to my gashes. I do not know what waits ahead for us, but I want it with you, with them. The opportunities to rebuild where we're able, make things new, fall in love with you all over again, because I now see who I am, not the chains that once bound me, not the infantilized in- invalid I've worn for decades, me. And I And I see you now as you, not the mirrored mirages, not the fantasy conjured from fairy tales, but the man that you are. I fought with myself for far too long. If I'm permitted, I'm ready. One breath, one step at a time. I want to come home to you. Dun, dun, dun.
Well then.
That was heavy, but very
Tell us how
good.
you really feel. That's all I could think. The more the words just kept coming, I'm like, Luna, tell us how you really feel.
I felt that one. I'm sure you did
Voice.
too.
Yes. Yes.
I'm over here talking into the void while I'm muted. I said, are we having a competition for the feels tonight?
Sounds like it.
I
I
mean,
mean, the prompt kinda demanded it.
yeah.
It kind of did. It kind of did.
And we haven't even gotten to the horror queen yet.
Oh yeah, Dahlia's got one submitted this week.
At least my bet is seeing some kind of action.
Yeah, the cats, all the voids.
That, okay, look how large it looks, right?
Mhm.
It's only 2 cats.
You don't have a third one up against the wall there?
No. That's my pillow, one of my pillows.
I thought
Yeah.
the same
God.
thing. I was like, you got a third void?
I
He's got
technically
7.
have 4. I have 4 voids, 2
Oh, 4
tortoise
voids.
shells, and an orange. But Kieran and Hades are over here making out like they do every night. All right. Next
I mean,
up.
Yeah, one of them's named Hades. One of them is gender fluid. It's kind of like Atreus and Baby Bird in the earlier
You're
story.
right. Cash is up next.
Am I reading my own?
No, I got you. I got you, Kesh.
All right.
The whispers on the winds, snaking through the mountains, carried the scent of the damp and forgotten memories of the peoples who had called this range home before he conquered them. He stood on the balcony, overlooking the lower peaks of the Spire Mountains, master of the domain, disappearing over the horizon in all directions. To the west, he could see the rising smoke from the manufacturing facilities. The thought of the weapons being developed bringing a malicious grin to his face. Everything was falling into place, and he couldn't be happier. But what about the Vermilion heir? What does your plan do about her? The presence filled his body, traveling from the top of his head to the tips of his toes and back again. It had been with him since he could remember, the presence overwhelming him, and at times taking him over entirely, before it decided to go back into its typical inert state. I have some You have nothing. Your thoughts have no structure. You're incompetent. They don't call me the King of Death over nothing, he defended. I have their fear and their hatred. I have submitted them to a freedom they would not have had otherwise. I just need to use that to our advantage. No matter. I have found a way to manipulate and corrupt the princess, and I can use that to our advantage. He leaned forward on the carved stone railing, clutching the marble as he felt the presence in his mind inflicting a stabbing fire at the base of his skull. His eyes clenched shut as his entire body shuddered uncontrollably, then stopped as quickly as it had begun. His eyes opened once he had full control over his faculties. There were clots of a mix of the black fluid from the void and his own pale red anemic blood. Blinking, he stared at the contrasting colors as they cycloned together. Master, why do you hurt me? Your greatest servant. The echo of the pain from the presence inside him aching. No, I am punishing you for your own good. You have 3 days before I wake again. Think about what you need to do before then. The presence began to fade. The soreness which settled through his muscles would be a long lived reminder of the interaction. You will capture her. Then the next part of the plan can proceed. It had released its hold over him. Report when you have made progress. It had left. He could breathe. Lightning arced across the red and yellow sky. A split-second flash, quickly turning on and off. He lifted his head as he watched another bolt raced through the mists, concealing the higher tops of the mountains. Dun dun dun.
Cash. What the
Yeah.
hair?
What the hair?
Izzy's already went for the stat. That's why we're with the hair.
I mean, y'all are going to be seeing it soon enough.
Just want to talk. Just want to talk.
To me, you know where I live, girl. Like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was waiting for Izzy to be like, I'll see y'all in 10 minutes, and then she just pops up on Kesha's camera with the staff.
I hate this character
She really.
with a passion. I hate this character with everything in my soul. And I don't mean I love him as a villain because, I hate him and that. No, I literally hate this character. I don't understand his motivation. I don't understand any of his background, what he's done, half the shit. However, this is the first time in 15 plus fucking years that I have found him interesting and wanted to hear more. Just an FYI. Just, just
I've been sitting on stuff. I just haven't known how to write it.
no, I know. No, I'm just picking on you.
I know. Plus,
And then
also
she
that
comes across us people.
I do not
Right?
like that I have to get into.
Oh, trust me. Why do you suppose I haven't touched a lot on Brian and Darnell? I
Hmm.
feel that. Hell, Julie was trying to do research for Roscoe's book and sitting over here going, I feel like I got to take a shower and bleach.
I did.
No,
You
I
just
get
hear a
Just
door
the
shut.
amount of shit that we have to know for each other's books. Because for those that
Ah,
don't know, if you are new here, I doubt many of you are, but if you are new here, Izzy is writing a book. It started during our very first season of the Hold My Pen Propcast, well before we ever even had a name.
yep.
Then February, after the Fresh Ink Challenge, I needed something to freaking work on, so out popped Roscoe. Then it was about 2 seconds into reading Roscoe's that we realized we have the same world.
There were literally so many different things like I was struggling to write because I didn't have the answers and I couldn't conceive of them. Like I didn't understand the who's it, the what's it, the why's it. Julie started having the same damn issue. And when it went, oh my God, that's because the answers to these questions are in each other's books. So now we have a self imposed deadline.
And that's how we ended up with hers, mine, and ours.
Yep. Hers, mine, and ours.
Do you guys see how the brain cell travels?
Fuck you.
And you see how it doesn't travel this way? Because I have
Not
petitioned for
yet.
custody.
You haven't been around long enough.
You're right. I haven't earned it
The
yet. I've
custody of
petitioned
the
for
brain cell or
custody.
the custody of the three that own the brain cell. We just
The brain cell. I've requested
like
to have it,
okay.
just to see what it's like for once in my life. But
I was about to say, if you're requesting access to the brain cell, I mean, we can pass it. It usually just jumps back, though. You have to like lure it away with caffeine, nicotine, and rage. Or Izzy's perspective, cats, Kesh's perspective, goss, or my perspective of, I wonder how this fucking works.
The brain cell chooses the writer's stick.
oh,
And that's
consider
fair.
I'm not one of
You're
those. That's why I
sitting
haven't gotten it.
Is
you're
that
sitting
like the
over here going, nothing I've ever written is going to be published. No way. Not going to happen. Well, I'm sorry. Until you want to, jump on board with all of your wonderful ideas and start writing something, the brain cell is just not going to be attracted to
That's fair. It can stay over there then.
you.
I mean, it's
All
just
right.
The whole thing is the brain cell kind of puts you the brain cell kind of puts you in charge because, as you said, you are the self-proclaimed cat herder.
That doesn't require a brain cell, just good reflexes.
That's the point. The cats, especially orange cats, all share one brain cell.
Speaking of brain cell, could the three of you collectively rub that thing together and create enough friction to spin the wheel?
I was waiting for us to stop talking because my mouse is literally hovering, And next up, speak of the devil, Julie.
I can go again, or this can be you, Kesh.
Got it.
Seems like it's alternating between you and I tonight, so.
I think so. My voice seems
I
to be
mean,
doing
I
pretty.
can read my own.
Not allowed.
If you guys want me to, I can read my own.
Not allowed.
Got it.
Okay.
The sun had long set by the time they made it down with all the evidence, and what should have been a littered sky of stars was nothing more than a moonless, dingy orange haze. Roscoe had the realization halfway back to Maiden Peak that she could no longer call the cabin hers and refused to even camp on the grounds, which led Jack to offer his mother's place for her, the rest of the four-legged crew to the rest. He didn't feel safe with her heading out of the pass in the middle of the night, or at least that was the excuse he had given her on the way back to Maiden Peak after he noticed that she was favoring her right side. He wanted desperately to ask what had happened before he had arrived, but he knew she was too wound up to answer him without making light of the situation. It wasn't until they'd gotten back and Roscoe swung down from nitro she immediately regretted it. Pain shot through her ribs, and somehow she managed not to curse. Jack sighted her but kept it moving. As Jack swept his flashlight across the room one final time, he noticed how the cabin looked emptier now. Evidence bags lined the table. The last of the photographs had been cataloged and had been put into folders for quick transfer to the cops. Another 20 minutes and they could finally get the hell off the mountain. Roscoe crossed in front of him carrying a sealed evidence tote. The flashlight beam followed automatically, then stopped. Jack frowned. Something looked off. Hold up. Roscoe kept walking. No, we are already losing light, and I refuse to stay in this place a moment longer than I have to. Roscoe? No. That got his attention. Slowly, she turned. Jack stepped closer, and the beam landed squarely on the right side of her red flannel. A hole. Not a tear. Not a snag. Fucking hole. The kind made by something moving very fast. For a second his brain refused to process it, then it did, and he felt his stomach drop. Roscoe, she sighed. Jack, you got shot. The vest held. The words came out entirely too fast, like she'd already rehearsed them. Jack stared. The vest held? It did. You got shot. The important part is you got shot. Jack's eyes went wild as he took 3 good steps forward, being still trained on power burn the powder burn spot in her shirt. Roscoe pinched the bridge of her nose. You're being dramatic. Dramatic? Jack barked out a laugh. Dramatic, she says. It grazed the vest. The bullet grazed the vest, more or less. Roscoe, she groaned. Jack took another step forward. When exactly were you planning on mentioning this? When it became relevant. His eye twitched. When did it become relevant? She pointed toward the evidence stacked near the door. We had bigger problems. I would argue getting shot qualifies as a pretty big problem. The vest worked. There it is again. Roscoe tried to walk past him. Jack stepped sideways, blocking her path. She stopped. He stopped. The stare-off lasted approximately 3 seconds. Move. No. Jack. No. The flashlight beam bounced wildly as he threw one hand in the air. You got shot! The vest got shot. The vest was attached to you. Technically. Jack closed his eyes, counted to 5, opened them again. Somehow she was still standing there, still arguing, still acting like taking a 9mm to the chest was the same thing as tripping over a tree root. I swear to God, he muttered. Roscoe pointed toward the door. We really don't have time for this. No, we're making time. Jack? No. Jack? His jaw clenched. Then he jabbed a finger toward her chest. If you die doing something stupid, I'm bringing you back just so I can kill you myself. For the first time all evening, Roscoe laughed. Actually laughed. The sound echoed through the empty cabin. Jack wasn't amused, not even a little bit. See, she said, the fact I'm laughing means I'm fine. That's not how medicine works. It's worked so far. That's the dumbest thing you said today. Roscoe grabbed the last evidence tote. I tied up 3 traffickers, uncovered a trafficking ring, got a confession, found out they had something to do with the missing girl, and got shot. She hefted the tote. And I've said way dumber things today. Like, hey, let me go check that out. Jack stared at her and then shook his head. You're impossible. Yet here you are. Yeah. He grabbed the remaining bags and headed for the door. Unfortunately, Mama would never forgive me if I left you up here. Roscoe smirked. There it is. What? The reason you're helping. Jack flipped her off over his shoulder. Roscoe grinned and followed him out to the into the gathering darkness. Behind them, the cabin sat silent. Ahead of them waited a long ride back to the trucks. Neither realized that before the night was over, everything they thought they knew about the case was about to change. Before they left the cabin, Jack had radioed the local Idaho PD to meet them where Roscoe's truck had been parked to hand over the evidence. The whispers of the wind carried the scent of rain and forgotten memories. Roscoe pulled her jacket tighter and shifted into nitrous saddle. The movement earned her a sharp stab of pain. Damn it! Jack glanced over from Harley. There she is. Roscoe frowned. There who is? The woman that's been insisting for the last 3 hours she's perfectly fine. I'm fine. Bullshit. Roscoe rolled her eyes. I got shot in the vest, not hit by a freight train. Jack snorted. Could have fooled me. Ahead of them, Major trotted through the darkness with the confidence of something that knew exactly where it was going. The giant Malamute wolf mix disappeared into the brush before reappearing several yards ahead. Roscoe watched him for a moment. He's proud of himself. He should be. Jack adjusted the reins loosely in one hand. He solved the case. Roscoe barked out a laugh. Don't let him hear you say that. His ego's already unbearable. The trail widened as they descended. Lights appeared in the distance, the parking area. By the time they reached the trucks, 2 Idaho State Police cruisers and a sheriff's unit were already waiting. Is that done? Because page 5 of 60.
Yeah, because if you scroll down, it says dead or alive. That's where something else starts.
Thought I just wanted clarification.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's where the dun dun dun.
after we finish reading it, she then takes that portion we read and sticks it where it needs to go. And then she writes the next week's prompt, pops it to the top of the doc.
Gotcha.
No,
All
Roscoe didn't
right.
find a dog. Roscoe's dog, his name is Major.
No, no. The question is, did we find the dog's raccoon?
Yeah, oh, yes, yes, we did, but that's not on page right now. Yes, we found Rocky.
Yeah, you
We have
better.
to
There is no search and rescue. You what?
you have to have Major Whoopi. Whoopi.
Yeah, yes, we have to have Major's Lovey.
Lovey's.
It's like they're. And by the way, Lovey is in the saddle, so when he's waddling through, you have to have the mental image. He's sitting in the saddle and he's waddling through the brush. He looks awful proud of himself. Well, yes, he does look very proud of himself. He has a stuffed raccoon riding in a saddle on his back. I need everybody to have that mental image.
You need to write that in there
It
Or,
is
yeah,
in
because
a different
that's
scene.
and it's in the previous
Oh,
scene where he finds the Lovey and then they re-secure Lovey back onto the saddle. It's in a previous scene from this one. So yeah.
gotcha.
all right. And
And look, I
set.
didn't manage to send, or I didn't manage to send all 3,000 words.
Dahlia.
Taking this one.
Oh, the horror. Catch is like, mine.
I'll
All
see
right.
myself out.
I love reading Dahlia's
It's
stuff.
not often we get a Dahlia submission, let alone a Dahlia prompt. So yeah.
Yeah, lately gotten real busy with schoolwork and all the things. So when something sparks, we're here for
Trying
it.
not to
Not
go
that,
by what it is.
yeah, not that we're not super excited when everybody else does. Like literally, we've sat here before. If one of y'all who is routinely able, to weekly do it, and suddenly it comes Saturday morning and we don't see it in the inbox, we're like, are they okay? Like, do we have to send out a search party? You know, that's that sort of thing. So, like, we know all y'all's habits, and we get very
I
concerned, Nuna, on you.
just read the chat.
Especially if you told me that you're going to submit for the week, I will start tracking you down.
I hadn't read the chat since our last conversation before the last piece, and I just got caught up on that. So sorry. I'm behind, but we know this. The whispers of the wind carried the scent of rain and forgotten memories. Billions of voices spoke in various tones as the whispers flowed past us, confused. We looked at one another, dazed. The wind continued to carry voices. Testing my tongue, I tried to speak, but how to speak was lost on me. While I tried to remember, I looked around in hopes that someone would say something, but we were all in the same boat, unable to speak, only able to look at one another with the word was lost to me, but I know it's a word that would best explain the experience. Trapped on the mysterious island with nothing but a giant object that looked to have crashed, I stared for a long time while others began to break down, trying to remember the name of the object. Something inside me screamed get me to remember. Walking into it, I could see chairs lined up one after another, three in a row on the left and three in a row on the right. Hearing the faint sound from above, I moved closer to try and hear, climbing on a chair and placing my oh man, why are some words escaping me? I tried so hard to listen to the sounds and remember the word. It was as if the more I thought of something or was looking for the right words, the harder it seemed to remember. I Words to my feelings are lost to me, but why I know feels exist and know they are important. So how could I forget the words to express my feelings? Hello, Luna. Can you hear us? A male voice said through the speaker. You can't talk. I'm guessing the island has that effect. Nonetheless, you want to remember, don't you? You have 3 days to find us starting now, and I'm guessing you would be demanding answers. Possibly you would just decide to kill me. Damn the answers. The cure will always be all you want if you make it to us alive. I will give you one hint. Of all you will forget, always remember antidote, 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 antidote. I repeat in my head nonstop, smacking the speaker as hard as I could. My feelings slowly shifted. Falling into the seat, I stared up at the speaker, then down to the ground. Liquid poured from my eyes. Not bothering to try and remember the word, I let them fall and repeated the word antidote in my head. Are you going to just sit there? We're bribing you with the antidote. You have 3 days until that poison depletes your memories and kills you. Think about it, the voice over the speaker said. Looking around, I noticed nothing that would indicate their ability to see me. Yet this person, they could see my every move. I was certain of that much. Dun dun dun. I like that one. I think we
What the
swam
fuck?
it. It's Dahlia. Would you expect any less?
It is Dahlia. Hold on a second. Let me do this one. Dahlia!
Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? We're so used to cotton candy people,
Colt.
cannibalistic cults, and missing hands being locked up in a portal, and and just
French
weird
toast.
shit.
All I gotta say is that
Oh,
French toast.
French toast. French toast. Um, I kind of want French toast now. Thanks.
To
Um,
learn how to.
You're welcome. I do it for everybody.
but and don't get me wrong, Dahlia has put in some very heartwarming things, and oh my god, that like spoken word poem one time. Oh my god, that hurt me reading it. But this was almost like
It's like the opposite of what she normally does.
normal thriller. Right now, when I say normal thriller, I'm I happen to enjoy thrillers. I love thrillers, not that thriller, although that is also
A good thriller.
a good thriller. I mean, I was 4 years old and looked at my mom dead in the face and said I was going to grow up and marry him.
A little
I
hard
don't have
now.
I think you had better
you,
chances when you said that than when you grew up.
sir.
Moving on.
I do have your address. Anyway, point being, I enjoy thrillers. I like what watching and Poison, like airplane, right? Airplane, crashed airplane. People, nobody can talk. They've been poisoned. Now they got to go find, like, that's the kind of thriller that I would like. Who are these people? Why are they crashing planes? Because I suddenly know that they are responsible for the crashed plane. And why are they poisoning? Now, I now I'm so traumatized by Dahlia. I'm scared. Is it going to turn out into this nice little fluffy thing, or is it going to turn into a thing that's going to, turn my stomach like Death's Head little Pike Man thing, or is it going to be a thriller and I'm going to enjoy the ride, or am I going to be puckering my anus? These are the questions I have whenever it's Dahlia.
Speaking about where it could potentially go, like from there was the one moment in that submission where she was like repeating the word over and over in her head, and then the mysterious voice immediately talked about like you're going to continually lose your memories. My brain took that and ran off into the future of this story where we see this character progressively losing their memories as they traverse this island, and the only word they're thinking of on repeat is just antidote, antidote, antidote. And eventually, like, they get it and they can speak again. But because for the last X amount of days, the only thing that they've been repeating on repeat and is antidote and losing their memories, we get like a I am Groot situation where they're like, you know, hey Luna, what would you like for breakfast? Antidote.
Who gives no, no.
Hodor, Hodor, I am Groot.
Hodor. Oh god. Oh god. Oh my god. Yeah. Yep. All right. Han, two, set.
Okay, who taught her Korean?
I believe it was that Han Solo guy she keeps talking about.
Ah, gotcha.
Ace's daughter.
Away! All right, here I go. The Judgment. The whispers of the wind carry the scent of rain and forgotten memories, and a bit of danger. This cliff has the best view of town and the incoming storm. Ever since my escape, everyone is either hiding or searching for me. Their efforts only make me laugh, and the promise of a fight gives me life. They have no clue what they just signed up for. Those poor, innocent souls. I swing my legs off the side of the cliff, giggling as I spot soldiers wandering around below. Unfortunately, Olive is nowhere to be seen. She's been through so much recently. Almost makes me feel bad for what's about to happen. Almost. I twirl the knife in my hand once. The familiar weight and feel of the handle brings back so many memories. Thunder growls from the dark clouds above. The town grows quiet as people head into their houses. I stand up and raise my knife, looking into the reflection of my eyes. Soon, I tell myself. A red glow shines off the blade near my eyes. I lower my knife, walking away from the cliff to the path. It leads two ways. Both contain ice and snow, but one is a cave, and the other is a town. As you approach the town sign, you must ignore the dead body in front of it. It's far beyond the point of saving. The name, Winter Joy, is painted in bright blue on the dark wooden sign. There's a store, a stand, and of course, lots of houses in this town. I don't stop for anything or anyone. My destination is clear, and nothing, I mean nothing, will stop me from getting there. The temple grows bigger and bigger as I approach, its white pillars towering above me. Two big doors stand in front of me, a heart symbol in the center of each. Pushing the doors open takes more effort than I thought, but it gets done. Inside, it is a long path with a red carpet. A shallow pool of water lays on each side of the path. At the end of the long path is a throne. Sitting on it is the judge. He's normally a grayish white color, not pure enough to be fully white. But now, his dark black figure seems to steal and absorb the light around him. I feel a chill prickle down my back, but I ignore it, walking closer to him. He stands and looks me directly in the eyes. You. His eyes fully consumed by a white glow. People like you shouldn't be walking this earth. He takes a step forward, the smile never leaving his face. I know what you came for. I just hope you know I won't hold back. Finally, his grin fades. My grip tightens on my knife. I've been waiting for this day, the moment I got out. A long, blazing white arrow points at me, and a number appears in front of my heart. 39. The number is higher than even I expected, but I'm not too surprised. Do you not feel a single bead of guilt for all you've done? His hand forms a fist and more arrows appear, slowly circling me. Ruby? I feel a slight tug on my heart, automatically stepping toward him. Stop talking and fight me already. Or are you scared you'll end up just like them? I laugh at the thought, the judge finally losing to a human in battle. As if reading my thoughts, he responds aloud. You are no longer human. His voice deep, with arrows around me. I roll my eyes. He's trying to be intimidating. I barely notice when all the arrows suddenly fly at me, my blade swinging through the air to block and slice at them. One of them misses my head by inches, cutting into my cheek with a slight burning before hitting the wall. I push myself forward, reaching the throne in seconds, but finding it now empty. The smell of burning fills the long room. Fortunately, the temple isn't made of wood. I freeze as my body lifts into the air, a white energy surrounding me. My eyes find him standing on the path of red, his hand stretched out towards me. Before my thoughts can gather a plan, I feel a sharp pain in my back as it hits the wall. He holds me there as bits and pieces of the wall fall onto the ground. Do you feel it? The pressure pushes me further into the dent in the wall. The faint guilt in your soul that says you deserve every bit of pain about to be inflicted upon you. I fall to the ground with a soft thud. His words repeat once more in my mind. It's not new information for either of us. We both knew from the very beginning that I would never take the good path, but maybe he had a small piece of hope I would. A new arrow appears in front of my head, the tip resting on my forehead. A warm heat radiates from it. My eyes have to squint to see him beyond the bright glow. Huh, it reminds me of when something similar happened to Olive. Only difference is the fact that I was there to stop the weapon. Now, I'm completely on my own. The arrow moves closer, faintly pricking my skin.
I think that counts as a mic mute.
Hmm.
I don't know if it. I mean, she never unmuted the mic, so does it count?
She is speaking while the mic is muted and very clearly towards somebody, so I count that.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but 404. Well, how are we supposed to know when you're muted?
No, it's a mic mute and a 404 because oh my fucking god, I need more. Like this young lady does not show up often enough, but I understand, young lady, life be life and yeah, da. But I need more.
For what it's worth, I enjoyed reading that one as well. I kind of like the first person take on a, overly cocky, person. Definitely not from personal experience. Don't give me that look. You had one job.
I love how we broke the Izzy tonight before we even started because she hasn't read a single thing.
Yeah, no, I'm going to make sure that next week I just stay on mute for the first like 20 minutes of the show. That way she doesn't have the
Yes,
excuse.
but thankfully, okay, this was overflowing with wrenches when this stream started.
You're busting those out.
And there were wrenches that needed to be done.
Yes.
So if anything,
Remember,
we are making Izzy very productive, even though she can't read.
I mean, these all have to be done by Indy when Julie Kesh and I go to the book convention because there's a charm bracelet and people have bought the charm bracelet and are going to go around and get charms from the authors. And so we got to have a lot of these done.
So maybe Friday after we do the hanging out we're going to do on Friday, I'll stay for a little while and help you do some of those.
Cool. For the record, she's trying to be all nice and non-exposing, and I do.
I'm
so
not trying to
appreciate that.
put your business out there.
No, and I was just getting ready to say, I have some routine doctor's appointments that I have put off. So, Kesh is going with me as my bestie so that I get all of these tests, doctor's appointments handled all in one fell swoop. And there we go. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's already next Friday.
Yeah, it creeps up on you, doesn't it?
Where is this year going?
Straight into the flaming dumpster with the rest of them.
This is true. All right.
I am not guaranteeing that the raccoon that we can control has not already shoved everything into the dumpster and is now playing with matches. So
look, and then to top everything else off, Stray Kids announced a skazoo that represents the fandom, the stay, and y'all, it's a fucking trash panda. They're not wrong. And last but not least, because we want the name up on the screen to flash prettily.
I feel like
Izzy, CM Weller.
I feel like Izzy has to read this one, or I can take a crack at it.
No, I if Izzy can read it, I think really she should read it.
It's to be fair, one of these characters is like canonically your voice. Like we cannot hear her voice in any other way.
All right.
She's like, say no, don't say no.
Please rise.
All rise for the honorable Izzy Krause, but don't rise too much. She's only 5 foot. Uh,
5'2", motherfucker.
for now.
Oh, we got. Oh, wait a minute. We have somebody who just. Who was it? Was it Helic? Helic.
Hellenic. Name a future character. Suggestion is a character named Adonides. Adonides?
Pronunciation
Dude.
guides.
If we can't say it, we can't use it.
As the local
Or-
Greek, that would be Adonides, but it would be
Adonis.
yeah, not Adonis. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Adonides? I don't need. Look, I
Adonitis.
don't go so far as using Frank or Bert. Although at some point there will be a George. That's just canonically George. And there will be a Norman as well. And if anybody
We
can figure out where
we got the Spanish version, Jorge.
we
Or
do
it
have
could be-
the Spanish version, Jorge.
Or it could be Adonides, depending on if it's the long E Greek.
We ain't got any Greeks.
I don't get not in any of my stories thus far. But okay.
Yeah, and I agree with Doc.
Killing me,
Saying it
Smalls.
correctly, it sounds like I don't need these.
This is true. Okay. Well, and there we go. See, Doc feels my pain. Do not feel bad. My younger sister is exactly 5 foot, or at least she was when she was 21. She is now 40, and I'm thinking that she shrank.
All right, there we
So
go. We have a final consensus. Adonides. I don't need these.
Have fun.
Luckily for two of you, Kesh was all like, I have thousands of characters to name. Throw them out there. So, good luck.
And then Hellenic picks me, redeems 5,000 points, picks me, and gives me something like that. Already, I have a plan formulating, actually.
I'll say the redeem doesn't say who the book is for, like which character, but
no, it doesn't say which author. It just says name a future character. And so the generalization of that does mean that somebody in the chat can redeem it and go, you name a character this. You name a character this.
Someone please name a redheaded stepchild that. It would be
the mother of a
ironically-
redheaded stepchild.
It would be ironically hilarious.
I don't need this.
Yeah.
No, yeah. The more I like push back and go, what the fuck? Something came to mind. Okay, we are going with Bitzers. Unfortunately, Bitzer had other plans. Family. Just a little more protein in the drink. It's fine.
Bitzer's
there we go.
off practicing with the magpies somewhere.
Right. Our very own Disney person. All right. The whispers of the wind carried the scent of rain and forgotten memories. Most of them were fresh memories of the road to her home with her Aaron. Memories she wanted to forget, but they kept rushing back to her. Yarrow was a familiar weight, asleep in a sling next to her heart, as she showed Mr. Trant the area where, once again, storms had eroded the cliff that Cairn Cliff was named for. Void set to clearing the path in its usual manner. It had taken to pressing the mud into bricks for anyone who might need such. So far, they were a set of neat stacks in various stages of decay. The stones were lined up in a different manner. They were a big puzzle, and Xenia had made putting it together her job. Some bits were easier than others, since they were large, engraved pictures. Graven images, as the Church of Soul would say. They weren't ancient demons pretending to be gods. They were old kings and bits of history. It was right there for anyone who knew the old words. Zinnia reordered 3 stones that Void had placed in a line, turning one around so that it was the right way up. Each contained only a piece of a larger story, a warning against the Clockwork King. It was still in pieces, but she recognized some of the passages. With no beating heart, the kind man. The next symbol was broken in half, and the rest of the sentence was missing. Mr. Trant was busy inspecting the slope and drawing pictures. He even clambered up to peer into the hole in the eroding cliff. There's an entire tomb, he said. If there was some light, a lantern, I could venture further, document the entire whoops. Zinnia looked up to see that Mr. Trant had taken a spill. He tumbled halfway down the slope and lost hold of his notebook. He was clearly shaken and maybe injured. Zinnia left the stones where they lay and ran to help him right himself. She checked his head, peering into his eyes as she shaded them from and exposed them to the daylight. It may be mere bruises, but he was covered in mud. The nearest well was on the ruin of her Aaron's farm. Void had cleared enough of the road to walk it, but Zinnia worried about Mr. Trant's ability. She was short. He was not. She and Void got him standing, and between them both, walking to the burned shell and the bare well beside it. Were you telling a story? Asked Mr. Trant. I'm afraid I was paying more attention to the finds than your words, Mrs. Balvin. I was reading, she managed. Zinnia focused on keeping her footing steady. Looking at the road under her feet was easier than looking at Mr. Trant. If he was just an arm in the corner of her vision, then she could put her attention on merely helping him move. She could measure the paces left to reach the well and plan the easiest path to get there, as she had done so very many times for herself, all alone. She'd once dreamed of helping her Aaron's son to walk to this well, once fantasized that her Aaron would be a kinder man once he became a father. Now she had a little girl, no husband, no home, and no hope for her future. There was a rope and a pail, but no windlass. Her Aaron was going to build a windlass at some undefined later. After 7 years of later, that windlass would be built never. She got Mr. Trant sitting safely before hauling on the rope, a task she expected to do on her own, but was surprised to have Void help. The metal enigma was so much stronger than she was. Step 1, wash the wounds. Used to her Aaron's howling, she warned Mr. Trant, this might sting. Zinnia began with Mr. Trant's hands so he could see. I promise, I'm fine, Mrs. Balvin, he soothed. I've been in worse tumbles with my brothers. Nevertheless, he remained still and quiet as he observed her at work. You have an astonishingly gentle touch, Mrs. Balvin. I swear the dirt is shamed into good manners from your grace, and thereby moves out of your way. Zinnia tensed in spite of herself. She knew that her Aaron was stone cold dead and months buried. That didn't do a single thing to stop her expecting his anger. She caught herself checking her shoulders and the edges of her vision for his approach. She startled, thinking she saw him, but it was just her coat on a fence post. Dead and gone, she whispered. Dead and gone. Dead and gone. Deep breaths. Count to 5. Now she could work with steady hands. As long as she focused on treating the wounds and didn't look Mr. Trant in the eye. I learned to be very gentle, she managed. One hand clean, moved to the other. Minor scrapes, so far. They called for honey and gauze, and if complaints continued, the addition of oil of lavender. Just a drop on her Aaron's bandages was enough to stop his complaints cold, or at least make him leave to seek work at the pub. My Aaron would kick up such a fuss. I didn't know he didn't mean to lash out like he did. He would. Her tongue clotted as she rubbed Yarrow's back and felt for signs that she might wake soon. Take your time, Mrs. Balvin. Mr. Trant's murmur was just shy of a whisper. I place great value in all your stories. They vividly paint a picture of a world I have never had the chance to explore. Second hand clean. Minor scrapes again. She had to face Mr. Trant's face, which she instinctively searched for warning signs. She found only pity and sorrow, and a lot of mud. Clean it top down. Fingertip space by fingertip space, watching his hands at every dab. Mr. Trant kept his hands firmly on his knees. His shoulders were down. He didn't even flinch when she dabbed at him. I lived yonder for 7 years, she said, nodding towards the bones of the one-room hut she had shared with her Aaron. Even the lean-to that was the tool shed and the new barn for the horse were low-quality charcoal. He was so angry so often. He loved me once. I remember when he was so sweet. Tears stung her eyes, but would not fall. There weren't enough of them to fall. He's stopped being gentle when we were alone together. I don't know what I did. Mr. Trant whispered. I cannot fathom it either. The mud was off his skin. Zinnia couldn't help shaking as she said, I have to check your arms and the legs. Mr. Trant rolled up his sleeves and trews. I don't believe there's any damage beyond what you've treated. This is good tweed, almost as good as armor. Not a blemish, if a lot pale. There were bruises just starting up, but nothing that needed treatment. Good. Very nice. She covered him over again, finding his shoes much friendlier to look at than his face. Zinnia almost turned to stare at the ghost of her old home, but Yarrow stirred in her sling. She needed tending. Zinnia took her chance and dashed for the big bag that had everything a baby needed. Void had been moving stones and clearing the road while she was busy with Mr. Trant's injuries. The metal creature paused in its work to watch her fussing over Yarrow. He has no anger, said Void. He will not hurt you. Zinnia believed it. Void never lied to her. That did nothing to stop her shivering all the same. Dun, dun, dun.
That was short for Bitster.
Did apologize for the brevity. Man, I ain't stuttered as Zinnia that bad in a hot minute.
You do it the best.
I gotta say though, the fact that Bitzer did so well with the, like, as the story has progressed, right? the stutter has gotten less and less for Zinnia. She's developed the sing-songy. She's gotten more confident, and the stutter is less. And for the record, Bitzer actually puts the stutter in there so that you know where Zinnia has the hangups. And this is a previous scene, and all the stutter is back because she hasn't left and gone to the city with Mr. Trant yet. She hasn't gotten the confidence yet. And to be able to be that author that can go back and remember where the character was mentally and that detail. Wunderbar.
That's why you had to read this one. I was like, the stutter is just.
The stutter is. I do want to say that I don't want anyone to ever think that I'm trying to make fun of anybody for it,
You're
Obvi.
reading it as put.
I am reading it as put.
As
And if
written.
anybody was real keen on America's Got Talent when it went nutto crazy, Drew Lynch is probably one of my favorite ass fucking comedians.
He's hilarious.
He is fucking hilarious.
Patrick actually got to go see him in a comedy club. Not
His
that
stutter's
long
gone though.
Nice.
No, it's not.
It's no, he did manage to get it quite a bit under control. But some personal things that he's talked about, so I'm not like putting anything out there, have re-triggered.
Oh, because I was gonna
So
say I watched a lot of his TikToks where it's just like him like walking down the street and making jokes, and he doesn't stutter at all.
mhm.
Yes. And unfortunately, what gave him confidence to not do or to get that under control is no longer part of his life. So
And the anger and the sadness and life be life and just kind of re-triggered it all over again. Although he did say that he was in like a comedy club one time, and I saw the clip where he was just going no problem, and suddenly he couldn't get a word out, and he was like, "Fuck, I ain't stuttered in this bad in basically I haven't stuttered this bad in years. What the frick triggered it?" And it happened on stage. And he's like, "What the fuck?"
and everybody thought it was part of the act, and it wasn't part of the act.
Yeah, and he's like, "No, I don't think you understand. This is not part of the act. Like, I gave this shtick up when I got it under control, and now it's not under control." What? He's like, "Hold on." He went
The
off
whole
stage.
thing is everybody was like busting up laughing. Like they couldn't fucking stop because no matter how hard he was trying to explain that this is not part of the act, this is not part of the set, it didn't work. It didn't.
Didn't
Nobody.
work. No. So
Nobody. So he goes off stage. He gets fucking calmed down, and then he comes back on stage.
Yep. And it's just
And he had it under
any
control for,
kind
like, a whole
of
5 minutes.
It was
right.
him. I was like, go ahead.
Anybody who has any kind of performance anxiety or conditions, and I'm not saying that they are equated, just a list of things, right? I have extreme stage fright. There is no fucking way that I could ever get on a stage in front of people at a comedy club. That's why I gave up singing. That's why I gave up performing, because it was tunnel vision almost to the point of passing out. Now, you would think I do this all day, but you guys aren't within arm's reach. So I more props and kudos to all of them, because oh dear God, I could not. I could absolutely not.
Drew is the comedian I was thinking of. There was a comedian there was a lady in the audience who had Tourette's. And
yeah,
he started playing off of it with her and like normalized it and made her feel like really welcome and stuff. And it was a good bit.
It really was. It's awesome. Yeah, and anxiety is known to make stutters worse. And so, I don't ever want it to sound like I am making fun of it in any capacity. It's just such a great character, and that's part of who she is, and it's normalizing it in that she's a respected professor now, you know, and it's chef's kiss. All right, let me get my OBS. No, not my OBS. My HMP laptop up and running. I've got everything loaded. I have to move the kitty cats out of the way. Timu! The other set is frog heads. Just
Was not sponsored by Timu.
I need to find raccoons.
They probably have it. It's Timu.
they probably do. Like I wish I would have seen the witch hat ones before the frogs, but the frogs was the only one I could find, so I got that one first. And you know that later on when they came back,
Oh, that's
the
a new one.
cats came in front of me.
On-screen
Aw.
celebration. I've never seen that one before.
Those are yeah, those are bits because most of us do not have the extra funds. We can't buy bits, so we do appreciate. You know, it's not necessary, but we do so appreciate you guys when you are able to gift us with things like that. All right, Julie.
The first number is number 74.
Concept. A character receives a mysterious textbook with knowledge beyond the curriculum. A character receives a mysterious textbook with knowledge beyond the curriculum.
Oh, since when do I have it?
And line.
107.
Fucking jump scroll. You said 107?
Yes.
Okay. As the door creaked open, I wished I'd locked it earlier.
Interesting.
As the door creaked open, I wished I'd locked it earlier. And fan favorite.
Dialogue. 139.
Dialogue. 139. Scroll, scroll, scroll. All right. Death said he was around here in order to vote. Good, because it's his dialogue submission. Well, a brick is a guest key anywhere. Use this dialogue. Well, a brick is a guest key anywhere.
Did I type that correctly? Because my brain is not working on that sentence.
Yeah, no, that's
Forgot the period, but that's okay.
Oh.
You did that last time on the dialogue too. It's okay. But the fact that I just want to give Styx props right now. The fact that when I read these out and he's typing them, he is typing them grammatically, punctuated, exactly as they are in the master document that he doesn't have access to. that to hear me read it and to write it exactly. What the fuck? Like just
I also forgot my
All right,
closing
everybody,
parentheses
vote,
there.
vote, vote.
Oh well.
vote, 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 even if you don't intend.
I know that dialogue.
Yeah, even
That's
if
Yeah, there's no. I mean, the other ones are great, but
they pale in comparison to that dialogue.
they really do. They really do.
and I know exactly where this goes, so it's like, no, 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 it has to be this one.
Oh,
You know where it goes.
I'm gonna say that unless we catch a raid,
Right?
And they all vote.
I am steeply outvoted.
Oh, that's you. I was like, okay, who voted for opening line? You did.
Don't get me wrong. Opening line is good, and I would wind up making it third person, but
I just nothing against the dialogue prompt. I just don't have any kind of the inkling of a concept to work that into.
oh,
I just wanted an excuse to use that line.
Yeah.
I think we all just wanted an excuse to use that line.
and if in case any, I still have the other half of all of these to do. That Cash and I will be working on Friday. We can get this done. Like how quickly I was able to get through them.
I'm just gonna
You did what? About 100?
copy and paste here.
Oh, I no. Considering we bought what 450 wrenches, and I ended up splitting them into 2 packs, but it's not exactly half. Oh, get out of there! Thank you. Shit, something fell that shouldn't be on the floor. Fuck.
Dialogue wins.
By 92%, a fucking landslide.
Is that the highest prompt has won, or has there ever been one that was like 100%?
So we've had one that was 100%.
We've had plenty that were 100%, but didn't have that many people in the chat to vote for it. Yeah, I think these were baggies of like 75 or something. And I bought quite a few.
As no one is surprised, the winner for the prompt this week would be dialogue number 139, submitted by our own Death's Head. Well, a brick is a guest key anywhere.
I am very interested and intrigued to see how our group, our audience will be using this prompt this week.
Okay,
Actually,
and
yeah,
to confirm, due Saturday, July 18th, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. Adjust your times accordingly. Oh, wait, you don't have to. The code that Death's Head himself showed me how to get calculates it for you. Got all 3 prompts in there. The voted on prompt is denoted with 3 asterisks, and then it also goes to the July's challenge, Fractured Mirror, and over to the forum thread. And I made sure to make sure that there were no typos. Booyah! And again, apologies for not getting any kind of resources into the Fractured Mirror forum. If you have any, please let us know. We will add them to it.
We'll work on it.
Add it to them. Just add a reply, a comment to the thread, and add your stuff in. For example, there is a channel called Resources or Writing Resources or something like that, and there's videos about, do you use the word towards with an S on the end, or do you use the word toward? Afterwards, and you know, the various different ways to do that. Punctuation, resources on show versus tell. And so we've also been trying to theme some of that in there with the various different monthly themes. Resources to just really kind of help explain more about some of the concepts. So just building resources that people can use. You know, if at some point we can figure out where the video about environmental storytelling, that's a fantastic thing that a lot of people don't think about. But, you know, as was mentioned in the chat, it's not talked about a lot, and it's hard to find examples of how to do that or how to build that. So yeah. Smart Alec. I remembered to change the episode number right away without having to go back and edit it. Huzzah! Okay, so you know where to find us. This next Friday, do we have authors lined up?
Yes, we have T.L. Ford that will be on Friday night. And we also have our very own from TikTok, Aspen Winter. That will be on a side. So it's gonna be a hell of a damn show with those two for Friday night for Book for Friday. Also, we have Patrick is going to be at OCon, I believe it is, on Saturday. I think it's the 17th and 18th. He's going to be in OCon in Nebraska. All this you will find out in the newsletter. So if you're not subscribed to the newsletter, first off, it's free. Second off, why the fuck not? It's the same as the Discord. It's free. Now, we get a lot of, antics and people. We got into a little bit of a meme war. Hold on.
All right. So, hey, that's not bad. It's before midnight.
Subscribe to the newsletter. Join the Discord. Click all the buttons. Follow all the things. Tell your friends. Writing, much like misery, is fun. More fun with company. Anyway, I'll roll out Julie's little bit because being on 2 shows a week with her, I've kind of learned it at this point. Is be brave, be bold, but always remember to remain humble. I think that's the last part of that one that I never remember. Stay out of trouble, and if you can't stay out of trouble, don't call us. We're all broke because we're writers. And remember to eat your snacks, read more books, stay hydrated, take your meds, take care of yourselves. Nothing good happens after 2 a.m. And thank you all, folks, for being here. And we will see you next Friday or next Saturday for Book for Friday or the Hold My Pen Promptcast. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.